Jimmy.
My name is Zach Dresch, and you are tuned into the Dresch Code.
Still working festival stuff here.
The Snow Jam Comedy Festival Spectacular Code.
Is it cone or code?
Code.
Dresch cone?
Dresch code.
Dresch cone?
That'll be my inevitable ice cream flavor.
Yeah, the Dresch cone.
It'll taste like hair.
Yeah.
It's got an afro of a
hair with some macadamia nuts in it, and that's about it.
Nice.
And everyone's gonna be like, this is not worth it whatsoever. So it's episode 20 of our show. We're not quite the legal drinking age yet, but we will be eventually. The next episode.
You can sleep with your uncle now that you're 20. It doesn't have to just be at Thanksgiving.
You earned it?
I earned it. It's been a 10-month fun ride, Robert. So, before we get started with the show, I'd like to go around the round couch and introduce every comedian that is on this episode. From Watertown, we've got Timmy Williams. How are you, good sir? Thanks for
Good.
being on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. What? I'm the host.
I know.
From Lincoln, we've got Sam Bontrager. Thanks for being here, Sam.
Thank you for having me also.
Thank you, sir.
Dresch code.
From Lincoln, Jimmy Putnam. Jimmy, thanks for being on the show.
Thrilled to be here, Zach.
Dresch code. From Aberdeen, Spencer Dobson. Thanks for being here, Spencer.
Thanks for having me. Dresch
code. Yeah.
Dresch code.
From Boston, Alan Richardson. Thanks for being here, Alan.
You're welcome.
He came all the way from Boston just to do this.
Just for this.
What's it like living by water?
Dude, it is awesome. Because sometimes you're like, I want to die, but I don't want to do it like out here, like I can go under there. It's just nice.
Having that safety blanket.
Yeah, it's like no one's gonna have to find you. You just get eaten by a fish, and like, look at that. Now I'm part of the circle of life.
It's comforting.
Go Pats!
Anywho, from Huron, then Sioux Falls, then Huron, and soon to be Minneapolis, Dan Bublitz Jr.
You forgot about San Diego.
And San Diego.
We'd be in Minneapolis.
just like-
I didn't know you then. Dan Bublitz Jr.
Nobody knows me now.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for
Is it pronounced Bublitz?
Boob.
Not Bublitz.
Not Bublitz.
Remember the first time?
Not
funny as
Bublitz or Bublé or Bublitz. It's not French.
They should have you on that bubbly commercial.
What
You're
is
right.
that?
It's German. It's
You
German.
too.
It's
Don't
I think-
kill yourself in
Yeah.
Boston.
The first time I hosted an open mic and introduced you, the first time I met you, I called you Bublitz.
Everybody does.
Dan Bublitz!
Everybody's called me that since I was a kid, so I just don't bother.
I'm sticking with it. I like
It's
Bublitz
whatever.
better. A lot better.
You guys are just wrong. That's fine.
I'll be wrong.
What I'm gonna do is rarely address you by your last name.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. That's what I do when I can't remember people's first names. I just, I'm just like, hey buddy, how's it going, pal? Good to see ya.
That's most of my life.
You bet, man.
And finally, from Lincoln, James Lindsey. Thanks for having the show, James.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, thank you.
Are we all in view of this? That's a
Robert,
wow, that is
work.
a very wide.
Any of
strike.
us. We got a very Last Supper thing going on here.
But I have no food for all of you.
I'll throw some salt. Well, we gotta eat your body then, bud. Sorry.
That's fine.
That's what happened.
Gotta make it stretch out.
It's chock full of that 2-liter Pepsi I had last night, so that's fair.
I haven't seen
So
someone
do
do
this
that
is going to
since
be
high
the
school.
last
What? Anyways.
That was weird.
What just happened?
Let's cast some pod.
All right, so how this podcast works is I will pull a question from the jar or bucket or Jucket. It's a new term that is not derogatory, but it sounds like it would be.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Full metal
Goddamn Juckets!
Jucket. Full metal Jucket.
My rent went up $200 thanks to the Juckets moving in.
See, you got right on board with it. See, it works.
So we pull out the question or topic and we read it and we decide, does this pass or fail the Dresch code? Meaning, yes, we'll talk about it, pass, or fail, we won't talk about it because we don't feel like talking about it. And I'll just keep, with each question, I'll pass it
Oh,
over
so
the
this
couch.
is a democracy? We get a vote?
Yeah.
This is America, Zach.
But then I'm going to blame all the ones we didn't choose on 3 million dead people.
But yeah, well, I don't know. It feels like we've got a two-party voting system and it doesn't work. How is it going to work here now?
And
Right couch rules.
is there a way that I can vote libertarian on the issue?
You You have to sit in one of those chairs. It's the Green Party, Libertarian.
And if the chair falls apart, then fuck it, no one's around to fix it. Welcome to being libertarian.
Shall we get started?
Just admit you're a Republican who likes pot.
All right, yeah.
Alright.
Oh God.
I do have 5 Jucket jokes in the holster, by the way.
Perfect.
I'm letting it spread
I
out.
got a lot of Jucket feelings. Okay.
Favorite comedy albums? Talk about it? I'll talk about it. Some of you guys?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay. I'll go with like a gold standard Steve Martin, Wild and Crazy Guy. It's a personal favorite. What about you guys?
God, I haven't listened to much new ones lately, but John Mulaney's Top Part is something that always floats into my head.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like Patton Oswalt's comedy plus tragedy equals time.
Oh, sure. I do love Werewolves and Wild Wild Hops as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I just picked an album of his,
Right.
I would probably just choose his whole discography.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy?
Listening to comedy albums isn't a thing I've ever done.
Oh,
Oh, cool, Mr. Jimmy, huh?
Well, no, it's just not like
Dresch code.
it's not. Is that? Are you talking about like comedy album audio specific? Like I watch specials. Like I don't know.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, I don't.
We could go the special route too if we wanted to. Go
Yeah,
for a
open it
different
up.
angle.
Let's open it up.
Let's be inclusive. Open it wide up. Spread it open.
I'd say New in Town, John Mulaney as well. It's a favorite.
Oh my God.
Fantastic. That I would. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I have everything translated into Braille, and then I run my hand slowly over it and roll in it. But Dana Gould Funhouse, it was definitely like that. And we had a lot of comedy albums when I was a kid, but then there was like this. It's like you have your high school music and your adult music, and Dana Gould Funhouse was definitely like my generation adult comedy. Like
Sure.
this is this is the new thing. This is how this works now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm really old, and that's an old.
Dana Gould's "Let Me Put My Thoughts in You" is definitely my favorite comedy album title.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Alan?
I have that in papyrus, by the way. And,
Dresch code. Nice.
Dresch code. Yeah.
I grew up, my favorite album was Bill Cosby, to my brother Russell, whom I slept with. Which is, it's like the entire thing is just a story of him and his brother trying to go to bed.
Yep.
Chicken all the way to Cincinnati.
But that one has since sullied itself in my eyes, especially the title of that one.
Yeah, I snapped that one in half once the stuff started hitting the place.
Yeah.
I snapped that CD in half.
I had the vinyl, I just threw it out. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But then Daniel Tosh Happy Thoughts is like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Dan, what about you?
What's comedy?
by Dan Bublitz.
Yeah, by Dan Bublitz coming out in like 3 weeks. No. I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering names because I'm getting old, so I don't like having anything specific. But I like anything that John Mulaney does, but I also like Mike Birbiglia.
Sleepwalker with Me is
was
smart.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
think it's What's the Movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't
Yes.
yet. I need to.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's really,
Do you think he gets a couple of
yeah.
bucks from La Quinta? Just for all the name drops? They should. If he doesn't, they should.
I feel like he doesn't paint a good picture of him, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more like a cease and desist.
Well, but they're hiring special needs people. That makes them very progressive. They helped him while he was bleeding, and they didn't freak out. We're talking about him.
You give a kickback to everyone who jumps out one of your second story windows.
And lives.
Oh, thank God there's that caveat.
Fine print.
James, what about you?
Killing Them Softly by
Oh,
Chappelle.
Top 5 for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that regardless of what people feel about him now, TJ Miller's old special No Real Reason was really funny.
I've never seen that one.
It was really underrated, and then he fucked it all up by what he did the last few years.
Your hair would say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Can I change my answer?
yeah.
I think my favorite comedy album, this is the camera there, right? I think my favorite comedy album is Alan Richardson's An Unknown Man in Unknown Places, or the Gas Money EP, which I found on Bandcamp.com.
And no matter what they say about Alan Richardson's, I stick by that. I mean, this is like tomorrow, right?
I had to
So the
snap
controversy
in
will
half.
start today. I'm buying several to snap in half.
But not for 10 years. You gotta let it vest.
Yeah, let it simmer.
You gotta let the bones rise up from the oceans.
You know who I?
This La Quinta parking lot is full of corpses.
Oh no! An old album that I like, who's by a guy whose reputation I think we are probably clear on, but I'm not sure. But Bob Newhart.
Stole one from Shelley Berman.
Did he really?
Oh, sure, that whole phone thing.
Fucking shit.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
There's no way to do it. Everybody's garbage. Just move on with your life.
Everybody's garbage.
Hi, Bob.
And because your phone is sticking out of your pocket with just the camera sticking up the top, I feel like you're secretly
I'm taking this.
filming.
Yes.
You're doing that move where I feel like that's how you would
He's getting a
translate.
point of view. His point of view.
My cover's blown.
Next topic?
Yes.
Here, Timmy, would you like to read from the Jucket?
Put your hand in the Jucket.
I'm really self-conscious.
Fist the Jucket, Jimmy.
Fist the Jucket. That's
a great album.
That sounds like a
It's
Run the
Yo
Jewels
Jugging
kind of
like
band.
that.
Is this one card?
Oh, there's two of them.
Okay. Oh, genre of film that you've never understood why it's a thing. I'm into that.
I'll talk about it. Sure.
Anybody? All right.
Sure.
Do foreign films count?
I just don't
All these
understand why
Jugging films.
Yeah, let me think.
You can't even understand what they're saying.
I don't want to read. I want to read. I'd buy a book, an audio book.
Man, I feel like I would have a good answer to this, and now I'm blanking on it.
This is a tough one, man.
Like there are genres that I know of that I'm not a fan of, but I can see why they're like as
Right.
popular as they are.
Right.
I don't like the stuff like Irreversible or like a Serbian film, like the just like
Yeah.
the just pure shock value.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Like not like the what are they like the like Saw movies is one thing, but when it's just like look at how many fucked up things we could like.
Yeah.
You can't even show this movie because we killed a dog in it.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? It's like no, you just thought of things you shouldn't do and strung them together.
Yeah.
Yeah, movie should be about, presenting a story and a point of view, not just being like, look what we did to this baby.
Yeah.
You're gonna forget it.
Yeah.
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 Like Antichrist.
I normally say musicals, however, there are some musicals that I think are really, really kick-ass. I appreciate martial arts choreography, and I think when you watch an old Gene Kelly musical, it's the same thing. Like when he's getting all those dancers together, and he looks damn good in those tight dancer pants, dude. I mean, that is something, me having identified as straight for most of my life, Gene Kelly definitely is one of the people that, kind of turns that out inside a little bit. Him and the guy that plays Luke Cage.
Oh, I am. Yeah, for sure.
That
plays
guy
Luke
could
Cage?
get it!
Oh, dude, I would never. He would break me.
If he came over and asked to take a shower, I'm not sure what would happen.
I would say sure, but the curtain's off. I don't know.
And Timothy Oliphant, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, Justified.
That dude could kidnap me, and I'd be like,
He's
"This is
beyond
fine to me."
like any limits of sexuality. He's just, I think everybody likes him.
I could see him doing comedy, actually.
He's super funny. Have you ever seen his fake weather thing that he did, or is a radio thing? He was on the radio years ago in LA and like was the fake sports guy, sports news, and it's really funny.
He was on Conan once talking about the Jim Carrey, Jim and Andy documentary. And he goes, "Oh, I watched it in character." As a pretentious asshole. I thought that was funny. I think what else there would be.
I don't think documentaries need to get made.
I mean, we have books for that.
Right.
I mean, audiobooks.
You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of like the indie films with that like really twee music on the soundtrack. Like,
Yeah.
All have the same amount of exposure, like that are all shot with that like bright, I don't know,
You're talking about all the remakes of Juno that have come out?
Yeah, dude, that is what it is.
I know it's not a genre, but that's what needs to stop. Is
I
all the
agree.
remakes of movies that
Yeah,
were good,
that's
especially
true. Yes.
movies that aren't even 20 years old. Like
Yeah.
they're not even. They're barely getting into the being a classic movie, and we're already starting to recycle them and redo them.
Spider-Man is the main. Like, oh, never mind. Just disregard that one.
Dude, Spider-Man is literally just like, no, now we want the money.
I feel
The
like
new
that's
animated one though, I went because I had time.
Spider-Verse is
Fantastic.
amazing.
And I'm like, this is amazing.
Spider-Verse is really,
Homecoming was
really good.
great.
Yeah, it's not to say these movies aren't great. We just also don't need.
But Spider-Verse, when I was at Spider-Verse in particular, I was like, I've never seen. This is a new kind of movie.
Yes.
I've never
Yes.
seen this kind of movie before.
It
But
didn't.
that's not necessarily like a remake. That's
No,
more
that's a
like,
new
that's more
story.
like
Yeah.
reboot. But that's
Right.
like they're rebooting a franchise.
They're starting
I'm
a whole
talking
new
about
thing with
like
that, yeah.
when they redid all the Halloween movies.
Right.
And
Or now they're
redo
starting
that.
Ghostbusters again.
And yeah,
Yes.
they're redoing-
They're rebooting.
Dude, all the Disney live action remakes,
Yeah.
that's the genre I want done. There you go, that's the answer
Yep.
for me. Yeah, totally.
Yep.
The Disney live action remaking all the cartoons from 20 years ago, what the fuck is the matter with you? And that Bill Smith, the Bill Smith. You know, the Fresh Prince Bill Smith. Like that genie thing, like that is, someone looked at that and was like, yes, it's ready to show the fuck. It's crazy.
This is the first image from our film that people should see.
This is how we get
Not only
past
that,
these
but
things.
like, think about the fact that it's Will Smith. Like, if it's anyone else, it would have been $30 million cheaper to make that movie.
Yeah.
Like, they spent so much money on that.
And
genie.
it's Will Smith's face, it seems, just floating sort of on a blue person's head.
Because that's not his body.
Right. You look really confused.
Well, children don't know who Will Smith is anymore,
No.
right? So why would you spend that much money on something? And he's not bringing what Robin Williams brought to
They
the
don't.
kid.
They don't want children. They want people my age, 27,
Yeah, well-
who watched it the first time around while also watching Fresh Prince, and then are now like, oh, those two things.
Or is
I
it
think
possible?
it's the fact it's people our age-ish that have had sex and made kids.
Maybe.
Because now they're like, oh, I love this movie as a kid. Oh, Will Smith. Like,
Yeah.
But wouldn't you also be like, let's smoke pot and watch this train wreck of a fucking Disney remake
Yeah.
with a goofy ass Will Smith?
Yes,
That
I
sounds
would say
hilarious.
that to my children.
And
yes,
that's why that's why they've cast Marlon Wayans as Jafar.
That'd be incredible.
Yeah, they could have saved money though making that movie. They
Not-
could've
not making
no,
it.
well, that but they could have just photoshopped the professor from The Watchmen into it.
It's like, hey kids, this is what dogs are.
oh man, that would be awesome if it hadn't happened, but the genie had a dick the whole time.
I've had
Well, and also
waving around.
every wish he grants you also has a dick. So you're like, I'd like $1 million, and all the dollars have dicks. They still spend. It's
But
still $1 million.
That sounds like a very Freudian
Got
kind
a
of
dick
like
on
deep
Now we know what
dive
Spencer
into
wants.
I want my dick on everything.
that. But I think, am I the only one of us with a kid? Do you have kids?
No.
Okay, so she's 7, and when we watch, so she likes, that chick gets marketed towards those kids. Will Smith or not. She probably knows who he is, but that's because I show her old rap videos. And well, because I'm like, it's a good Christmas song, Christmas and Hollis Queen. So then we got into a whole rap YouTube tangent. Anyway, but that's marketed towards little kids.
He's about to call social services over here.
And I'm not showing her like Tupac shit. So, no, we're not doing that. But just like nice rap, like us, that stuff.
When everything sounded like that song.
Yeah,
And it starts with My Name
late
Is.
70s. Right, yeah, we started like, and then Kim.
Well, I gotta tell you a story about what I've done.
Yeah.
My name is
Here's
Bob.
about the words that rhyme with rap. That's the old stuff, that's like. Anyway, so these Disney remakes are being marketed towards kids, and like, I think it does get them interested in watching the old movies, which are always better, but it's like, for example, when I read her Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, she's like, cool, let's watch the movie. And I held up both versions, Gene Wilder and Johnny Depp. And she picked Johnny Depp. And the kids, little kids just generate towards stuff that's, I think, made a little closer to when they've been alive. Now, we'll eventually watch the Wilder version and she'll see that it's, like, way better. you know. But I think that stuff kids gravitate towards newer things, and so one reason they're remaking them is just because kids don't care about the old shit anymore. Which is too bad, but it's also the truth. You know?
But it's like a gateway drug too, though. You're right, because you watch and eventually you reach
make you old now that you're just like kids just don't like the old classics.
Yeah, that is part
You're
of
probably the young kids sitting around going like, I like the new shit. I don't like the old shit.
I always liked old stuff though, but my parents raised me, and it was like I grew up like when people talk about '80s sitcoms and get reminiscent about garbage like Goonies and stuff. Like I hate Goonies. Anyways, I never got into that stuff because what I watched at home was TV Land and Nick at Night. So I watched old stuff as a kid. I got into Get Smart and Green Acres and that kind of stuff.
So when it comes to like the Will Smith genie stuff, are you saying that kids just don't understand?
I'm trying to work that around too.
Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know what you said for the last 2 minutes. I've been waiting for you to stop. Just been staring at your lips and like, here comes my attention.
That was perfect.
So next topic.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
move on.
That's Sam from the Jucket.
boy.
It is just a jar though.
Yes.
No, it's a large jar.
We don't have to
It
go
looks
through all
like
of
a
these.
heavy.
No.
He's like watching his whole day fade away.
This is a fucking week's worth. You're gonna sit 8 comics in a room and try and talk through one topic in a day? What are you kidding me? Which artist do you think should call it quits? You have the worst handwriting.
That's it. I'll get to it. Don't worry. Don't be surprised.
Which artist do you think should call it quits?
I'll talk on it.
That sounds a little. I don't know if I want to talk about that.
No?
I kind of
That's
feel like
me.
negative. Yeah, I was gonna say because
All
it's
right.
thrown right back in our faces.
Yeah.
New topic.
New topic. Yeah. We'll
Yeah, I already have enough self-hate in my life.
I was gonna say Dan. I was gonna.
TV shows that should come back.
TV shows that should come back.
Yeah, we just talked about Handy
None of them.
Boots. Want to talk about TV shows that should come back?
Keep going.
Yeah, let's do another one.
Fail.
Jesus Christ.
You're bad at this.
I really
Why is
am.
Dobson so fat? That's
Okay, well, I'm sure this one will be a huge success. Greatest Police Academy movie.
Oh shit. Can I?
We all agree it's Police Academy 4.
It's 2. For the record.
That sounds like a yes.
I'll talk about.
We'll talk about it.
Well, so
I'll take.
It was definitely Police Academy 6, Back in Traffic.
He wasn't even in it till the second one, right?
Who?
Was Goldthwait in the first one or
He's
not?
in
till
the
the
first
second?
one very briefly, right?
Yeah.
As a bad guy.
Yes.
And then
it's
he's
a bigger
the
part
first
of
and
the
the
second
second
one.
one. Yeah.
well, no, it's his gang is like the bad guy in the second one. I don't think he's in the first one. He's a bad guy in the second one,
Okay.
and then becomes a cop. I think at the end or into the third.
Okay.
But I'm about to launch the first episode of this podcast called Suicide by Police Academy, where I sat down with friends over a day and I watched all 7 Police Academy movies in a row.
You okay?
No, it was the worst. I was so fucked up by the end of it, I didn't plug in the mixer for the 6th episode, and it's just me yelling on my computer like, why won't the volume change? But those movies don't age well, and they get worse over time. It's nuts.
No, that are
At
trying
the
to.
time they were fucking.
So what he's
brothers.
saying, none of them are the
Your
best.
answer is 0.
No, 2. 2 is awesome.
I've only seen 1 and like parts of 2.
Watch 2. 4 is 4. They clearly had a huge budget for because it's full of big explosions and like
Is that
car
the Miami
chases.
one?
No, I
I've seen
think
part of
that's
Miami.
5.
Okay.
Which one does he have to run around with Samuel L. Jackson disarming bombs and stuff?
That's 3.
Okay.
Where he has the sandwich boards, I have Juckets.
Right. It's like, yeah.
David.
Why
Spade is
didn't
in
Gutenberg
the fourth
Hanks? Because at the time,
It was a very clear question.
Tom Hanks was in Bosom Buddies, and
Yeah.
he went on to become Tom Hanks. Steve Gutenberg and Tom Hanks were the same person at that time. Where do you think the
4
It's
Police
easy.
Academy movies.
Police Academy.
If there 7 bachelor
those
party
eventually,
movies, Tom
though.
Hanks' career would have tanked.
But
Yeah.
Gutenberg quit Police Academy eventually.
After the fourth
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Which knows that he knows when to walk away after that.
Dude, Police Academy 4 is I swear to you, it's the exact same script as Police Academy 1. Wow. Like, they swapped the characters, but the beats are just the same. It's insane.
Is it like the new class or something?
Yeah. There's all like, oh, dude, there's a very, very long shot of a dog's boner in the first one. It's like a very clear, like, that's a dog's boner. And then it cuts back to it, and you're like, there it is again. No, it's him humping someone's leg, but you just see, like, it's so, like, that dog is so horny right now.
Do you think they gave the dog coke?
I think they just let the dog have fun.
All right.
David
Well,
Spade
but I
plays
mean, like,
skateboard.
Zach Galifianakis still
Yes.
has, like, he's got baskets, he's maintained his artistic integrity. I would say after the third Hangover, it could have been the end of Zach
But
Galifianakis.
the difference in how you can release things during Police Academy 4 and Hangover 3 is so different. Where
Yeah.
you can make so many more indie shows, not just because it's cheaper to make, but there's like 100 more networks that are making them.
Yeah, that's a good
Versus
point.
like back when Police Academy was like 94 or 95.
Right.
Yeah.
Then like you only had like the big channels and not really any internet
Yeah,
content.
stuff can
You also
slip past
have
you today if
digital.
it's bad, and you don't get
If
hung
you
up
make
on
a
it.
bad film, it's whatever.
If you make a bad film, you get shot to the indie stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, in Hangover, it's a monkey dick, not a dog dick. So
Yeah, that's
Plus, all the
that's
hangovers are
all.
awesome.
I haven't seen. Are we talking about Hangover movies now? I
The
haven't
second
seen-
Hangover
haven't
left
seen the
such a
third.
bad taste in my mouth I couldn't watch the third.
Yeah.
People were so mad about Hangover 2, like it's the same movie. And I was just like, what did you think it was gonna be? Like, just get drunk and go to a movie.
Yeah.
That's one of my biggest like pet peeves with people in movies, how they get so offended when they go to a movie like that. Like there are some movies that are just for fun.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Super Troopers 2. Anybody that went in there expecting it to be better than the first was a moron.
Right.
Because you know what? It was just going to be the same thing. It was going to be the same cheesy, hacky jokes, a bunch of cameos, and all about weed. And if you go in there to that movie just to be like, I'm here to be entertained and have a good time, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
all it's
that's
about.
how it was about Blues Brothers 2000, and then it was like, I'm not entertained.
Are you not entertained? No, I'm not.
That is truly one of the worst fucking.
I actually have never seen it. I couldn't shit on John
Oh,
Belushi
I
like
saw
that.
Do you know that movie is 2 hours and 10 minutes long?
Oh my fucking Christ, that's evil.
That's back before they did that for a.
Yeah,
But
it's
Hangover
crazy.
1 was like, this is Caddyshack. I am watching the new Caddyshack. And then you're like, oh, you're going to make
Caddyshack
Caddyshack
2
2, aren't you, you motherfuckers? God damn it.
Yeah. I didn't like Anchorman 2 or Dumb and Dumber 2. Wasn't a fan of either. Just because I'm so faithful to the originals, but
I don't watch
didn't
stuff that
wanna
doesn't
see
have
this.
kicking in it, so I haven't seen
So I didn't feel like kicking and screaming.
Like Dumb and Dumber 2
alright.
or Anchorman 2, I don't even want to risk it because I like the first one so much that I don't even want to.
Anchorman 2 is.
yeah.
Anchorman 2 is for sure what Dan is talking about, where it's like, no, this is the same. Like, we got paid to make more of the same movie.
Oh, exactly.
By the way, did anybody go to Holmes and Watson?
I
Because
heard
I couldn't
heard it
do
was
it.
bad.
That's the thing is like, to me, Holmes and Watson, I didn't go, and it's too bad that it tanked. It seemed like everybody hated it, because what a fucking brilliant idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a brilliant.
What a
How can
brilliant
those
idea.
two not be funny?
Right?
Yeah.
Step Brothers is like.
yeah.
I read a line in a review of Holmes and Watson that made me not want to see it, and I was like, okay, that's the problem. It said, the movie is not smart enough to know how stupid it should be.
Wow.
And I was like, well,
Interesting.
fuck, I'm not going to watch that.
All right.
You know? Because it should be the dumbest thing in the world, and if
Yeah.
it's not dumb enough, then, you know.
Right.
John C. Reilly, I think, is just the most amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
It
watch
makes
him do
everything
anything.
better.
Walk Hard was one of the greatest.
Yeah,
movies.
it's
I've never
good.
seen it, but like I know
You've never
that-
seen it?
Really?
Oh, it's
I'm really
Holy
bad.
shit.
I'm really bad at watching anything comedy. I don't watch anything. I don't watch a lot of comedy
He helped
stuff.
write the songs. He really plays guitar and
He's
sings them.
amazing.
He toured as Dewey Cox after the movie.
That is awesome.
He put out 2 country singles that are really good too.
I once played about 5 Walk Hard songs at one of our local bars, and half the crowd left.
Oh my god!
But I'm like, you people are
Fucking
soulless fucking
Yeah.
people.
So wait, you don't
Will
even have
Ferrell
to
is
do comedy
really
to
not
walk
amazing.
on
I'm
a
sorry.
venue?
No,
Right? Yeah. People are almost like, oh,
Just
you
give
know
him
what?
a jukebox and Dresch can get people out of there.
We're almost
Actually, one of my favorite things to do is to go out with Zach to a crowded bar with a jukebox because he uses the fancy app on his phone and totally bogarts the jukebox.
That's
And it's amazing.
There was one night.
Do you try to walk people or do you try to win them over?
Both.
What's your
Depends on
walk-em
the
song?
night.
Walk 'em is walk hard.
I can't believe
the one
that
that gets them
people-
to be like, what's going on here? I
Fucking
played Wake Me Up.
Juckets.
I played Wake Me Up Before You Go 3 times in a row.
I've played this game. My walk song is "Lose Control" by Eric Carmen.
Jimmy, I actually have beef with you because like
I
you
know.
used to come into the bar where I would bartend at, and Jimmy would hog the jukebox and
Yeah.
knock everybody out. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to fucking make money here. What are you doing?
I need to pay my rent.
To be fair, that the amount of people I walked was like 3 people. It was never that busy.
3 tips, man.
That's 3 crisp $1 bills.
It's true.
That's half a lunch, dude.
You guys tip a full $1?
About 3 weeks ago, someone was playing just all this modern country pop that I was not into
Right.
at all, and then they threw in Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You."
Right.
And then I followed it up with Slipknot's "People Equals Shit." The crowd was so confused.
Right. I have a friend who plays gay bar, and I do not
Oh,
remember
yeah.
the band.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
Electric Six.
it's a good song,
It is a
and
great
nobody's
song.
listening. It's
great.
So it's not effective.
And that video is amazing.
Yeah.
When I was in plays in college, we would play gay bar multiple times to get warmed up before we went on stage at a Christian liberal arts college.
There you go.
Boy, that is very telling.
We're
We would all sing Godzilla before plays.
Nice.
So next question.
Yeah.
So Police Academy.
Please, Kat.
Hey, one more Police Academy thing. So I know that as of about 13 years ago, I know that as of about 13 years ago, they were bringing in younger sketch and other comedians into meetings to talk about rebooting it. It never happened. But I know I heard a rumor that the word space was used.
They are still talking about it.
Are they still talking about it?
Yeah, they're still trying to make a new Police Academy movie.
Wow.
I can't believe a Police Academy movie question came up after I had to sit through that.
I can't believe you know so much about Police Academy.
Yeah.
That you did this project.
But I mean,
No, I only do because I did the project. I didn't
But I mean,
beforehand.
I just like.
at the rate they're rebooting, there's going to be a "Where's the Beef" movie. Like we
Yeah.
don't have any.
Oh,
fucking
dude, we're
ideas.
running out of culture.
Hey
Here's
guys,
the
That's an
no.
Onion article 25 years ago that we're running out of
don't
cast.
be telling the people my secret project called "Where's the Beef."
The movie.
Isn't that Guy Fieri's?
Ironically, it's in the
I was
cold.
gonna say colon.
I was gonna say Colin's just actually written out. It's not-
I just heard Angry Birds is getting a sequel. God
Yep.
is dead.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's already done. It's coming out this
How
summer.
did it already?
Dude,
go
I was at a
first?
movie
That's
theater in a
what's-
town I will not name because I love those people, but there was a big cardboard cutout for the Angry Birds movie, and I watched people go, I can't wait to see that. And to me, they died.
There's another version of this too. There's another version of this which is when you see something and you're like, I didn't know they made 8 of those. Like there's
Yeah.
like 7 Land Before Time movies.
Oh, there's like 15.
Oh, there's the.
So I saw that. I was like, I didn't even know that had happened.
It's like 8 James
I will
Bond.
have you know that was my childhood. Every Saturday, children's matinee, Land Before Time. Every Saturday.
And there's like
For
12
like
backdoor
the whole summer.
sluts, you know? It's just
Something
like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
They should have stopped after 3. It was classic.
Did you cut and paste this script?
And then they did that one where they reboot it with all women. It's like, come on.
First of all, you don't see that.
Pandering.
Number 5 and after, where Steve Gutenberg was in.
That's where he went.
Did you reappropriate slut to mean not slut? You said That's just confusing for people.
There is a Ron Perlman quote about Mission to Moscow, the 7th Police Academy movie, where he says, I did a PSA to the world with my because the topic was how shitty his performance is in that movie because he plays a Russian and he goes in and out of a Russian accent and it's just not good and his quote was like, I did a PSA to the world with my performance in that movie from stopping them from ever making another Police Academy movie.
Jimmy, would you like to?
Sure. We have a comment online. Erica says that it's weird that no one took off their shoes for this podcast.
Oh, because it's usually in Robert's apartment where we go.
Usually we won't have shoes and people will mess around with their feet on the screen.
Oh, people are watching this live.
Yeah.
But is Erica a foot fetishist? No offense, and that's great if you are.
I mean, yeah, no judgment. But
Erica, if you are 978-3750.
Gamer handle tickle toes.
I live in Watertown, but a different one. All right, sorry, that was just Erica.
The Watertown in his heart.
Massachusetts.
Or Massachusetts.
Next question.
Growing a comedic culture in Sioux Falls. What challenges does the comedy scene face here in Sioux Falls?
I was redundant with the wording of that.
I feel like we passed because only
I have
Only two of us.
we're going to get that.
Only 2 or 3 of us could be able to.
But it's the Jucket.
Do I throw this back in here?
Oh, I'll just take it.
I think you need more meat.
That sounds more animal.
Yeah.
Well, hey, just so happens we have a Watertown that's like an hour and 15 minutes from here.
Perfect.
Jimmy just vetoed one on me.
What was it?
Favorite snack in a movie theater? We've been talking about movies.
Your mom.
What is?
I didn't look at you, sir.
She doesn't go to movies. What is something you spent a ridiculous amount of money on that is also ridiculous?
I got something for that.
I'll talk about it.
I talk about that.
Yeah.
What don't I? Everything I spend money
Yeah.
on is ridiculous.
I've spent $300 on a record.
I went to college.
that's a very good point.
Oh, I went to college without finishing college. The best way to waste money.
Totally.
I haven't made it to the end yet either, so there's still time. Huh?
I did it 3 times, but it was just community college, so it's not as bad.
I got married.
Yeah.
I did that too.
But I didn't spend a whole lot of money on that. Maybe that was the problem.
I was
Says the guy wearing a Coach sweater. I didn't spend a lot of money. I'm still fine.
I was in Janesville, Wisconsin, and I go on Facebook Marketplace a lot, and I found just a guitar body for a design called a Billy Bow, which Bo Diddley made and gave it to Billy Gibbons, and it's this really off-center, it's a really cool guitar, and I'm like, I'll just build it, and it wasn't routed right, and I had to like make the pickup holes bigger, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I used metal chisels instead of wood chisels. And so it took hours and hours and hours, and I did the paint job in my apartment, so there's a lot of fumes, and I probably have cancer. And like, when you build stuff yourself, it comes out janky and fucking homemade. And so I ended up having to like $26 guitar neck, but now I have to do $60 of repairs on it to make it a functional guitar neck. And it's a slide guitar. I like it. It's fine. It took a lot of time, and I probably could have bought one for $300 that is just fucking perfect.
So
But
that's
now I
like
know how to solder.
So you did spend a lot of money on that.
So that's like the opposite of like you should have spent money on it instead. Is what you're
I
saying.
shouldn't have spent. I spent a ridiculous amount of money on something, and if I would, I could have spent less money and gotten more bang for my buck.
Yeah.
If I just let the man build the guitars and not try to be Captain DIY.
Captain Luthier.
Captain Luthier. Yeah. Who knew?
I think
But I've had an experience. So
Yeah,
fuck you
these
people.
guitars.
I know what Luthier is.
Oh, Timmy had a look of confusion.
Okay.
I'm just.
Oh no, I was because he was looking at me because I said I think the thing that I spend the most amount of money that's the most ridiculous is comedy. That's
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That's just like I'm thinking about it. And I'm like,
$400 in this podcast.
Do you guys get sucked into like stupid habits that like you drop like 6 months later? Like I spent like $700 on a really nice digital camera thinking I'm gonna take photos at shows, I'm gonna do my own headshots, I'm gonna take artistic shots and put them online. Not even
I do
6
that
months,
all
3
the
months
time.
later, it's like in my closet. Like,
Do you ever buy a kid a kidney and you're like, there's a lot of fucking kids.
Yeah. There's even more kidneys.
Yeah. So fuck that kid.
I've spent over the last 10 years, I've spent hundreds of dollars on video games that I instantly hated and never played.
Yeah, that's one for sure.
Like just like I bought like when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I bought the version of it that gives you all the DLC and it was like $100, and I played it for 3 hours and I was like, this sucks. It's not fun, so I still have it.
Dude, that game, I'm right with you there, man. I played it for the first few hours and I was like,
I drove a fucking caravan across a snowy mountain for 2 hours.
yeah, it's like,
And then got eaten by wolves, and I was like, I don't understand why this is fun.
I can't invest. Well, everyone's like, well, once you get like 45 hours into it, it's great. I can't do that.
But and I haven't played the game, so when you were saying that, I'm like, oh my god, there was a snowstorm and you had to go get a video game? You're so dedicated.
Yeah, no, I just downloaded it. It really is. It's like one of those games that I've heard that 1,000 times too. Is people say like, oh, you gotta like throw yourself into it, invest in it, and then you'll start to get it. It'll be, but it's like, what? What's the point of that?
You know what I did instead of that? I started writing more.
That works.
Yeah. I mean, you guys saw me at the open mic, so it doesn't work. But
You did 10 minutes on Red Dead Redemption.
you gotta write what you know.
I like Alan. I spend a lot of money on vinyl. I collect vinyl. If I sold all of it right now, I probably could make like $3 or $4 grand.
Wow.
Wow.
I lived in Boston without a job for 4 months selling my vinyl.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, I regret it. I should have just got a job. I had every Frank Zappa record.
You could have got a job and bought more vinyl.
Yeah.
As opposed
That's what I'm doing now.
By the way, before we get too far away from any of this stuff, to tie it all together, Red Dead Redemption would be a great name for a dog penis.
What, are you supposed to name the dog penis?
Yeah, no, that's what
Anytime you see one. Yeah.
Police Academy 8.
That one's
Police Academy 8.
And then you put a stick on it.
Redemption.
Mine's National Drescher. It's a dog. Hey.
Talk about expensive record purchases. I got a record player a couple years ago, and I don't know shit. I only have about 20 or 30 records. That's not a lot that's not a lot, right? That's like a fraction of what cool people have. Anyway, so I got a record player and I bought some records, and the only one I allowed myself to spend more than $30 on was OFR by Nitro. It's a hair metal band from 88.
Yeah.
And it's like the most screams and the most guitar solos. They're dudes that went on to teach other hair metal people how to do it.
Wow.
And Jim Gillette, the singer, can shatter glass with his voice. Like,
Wow.
And he does classes and stuff. And
He does magic.
Right. And he's a magician. The guitarist is Michael Angelo. And he has an
Wait, Michael first name, last name, Angelo?
a middle name. It's like Michelangelo Badio, but he
But
goes
it's
by
still two
Michelangelo.
separate-
What a
separate
cool
names.
name, Michelangelo Badio.
Yeah, and then he has an
Yeah.
X guitar, and their music
Two
is
necks.
legit insane. But I spent like $40 on that
You got
record.
a 2-neck guitar like this.
Yeah.
No, the
I
Oh, you're right. It's like two V's.
V's.
Yeah, it's like this and then that. It's pretty amazing.
I saw him at a guitar clinic one time, and he
Did
was
you really?
playing regular, and then he switches to the other side. Wow, and he plays like over the next.
Yeah, dude. Insane.
Oh,
And the music
Tenacious
is-
D movie.
Huh?
Tenacious D movie. Kyle Gass has a guitar like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably,
It's a woman's
that's probably
legs
where
with
they
a-
got it from.
yeah.
Yeah. And OFR, the name of the record, stands for Out Fucking Ranges.
That's beautiful.
Have you ever bought a vinyl album and instantly thought, how the fuck am I going to listen to this in my car? I do that all the time.
I own a record called Hate Beak.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes,
a
Hate
parrot. A parrot sings for a metal band, screams for a metal band.
Yeah, and it
it's
works.
gold.
Now, there is another band.
See, that's a YouTube video that I got about 2 minutes of interest in.
This feels like
You-
a
you
genre
played it
of film
multiple
I don't
times?
understand.
Well, they shouldn't make anymore. But there's another band like that, K9S. Have you heard K9S? Okay, so Hate Beak is, they take parrot sounds and they like warp them. It sounds like that.
Yeah.
K9S is to me a little more pure of animal metal because they just have the pit bulls barking, and so it's just like it's just that. It's awesome.
That
See, to me,
sounds awesome.
It's really awesome.
You're a white guy with braids. You're just like, I'm just trying to
How did you see that?
I don't really like this, but look how unique I am.
This is so upsetting.
No, I honestly like the K9 thing. I thought it was fucking awesome.
My mom has an album of.
Dude, how many metal guys try to sing like an angry pitbull? So you know what? Just get a fucking angry pitbull.
My mom has an album of dogs barking Christmas carols, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, dude. Jiggle dogs, jiggle cats. I know those fucking albums.
But
I
do you
love those
jiggle
albums.
dogs on a road trip? Do you ever like, okay, man, I gotta get into my stuff?
Yeah, Spencer, I'm gonna stop you right there. We have.
Oh, I have, but I have a kid, so I do it. I have absolutely on many road trips been like, you gotta look up K9 right.
Oh, fair enough.
Look up Jazz Loon and Jazz Wolf.
Is that Wolf Hall jazz music?
Oh yeah.
Well,
But it's not as good as Jazz Loon. Because
Jazz
it's the
Loon-
sounds of loons, but they also have like water underneath it.
Jazz Loon got hooked on the horse, and things did not go well.
In the 60s, he put bitch in one of his album titles, and then things just kind of.
Why would you hire a dog to bark on your album when you could get Steve Guttenberg for the same?
Because the dogs have talent.
Yeah.
Because the dog did Police Academy 5.
So if you have a Police Academy film without Steve Guttenberg, is it gluten-free?
Oof.
That was.
I don't know how to react.
That's the host.
I don't know.
The next thing that comes out of there is, how do you feel about puns? I think.
I'm just gonna beat Zach to death on camera.
Zach made eye contact with me after he said that, and I've never been more terrified. I don't know what to say to that.
That's the last word. Those are the last words you hear before you die.
Yeah. Is it gluten free?
Did you just show me your Red Dead Redemption? Why do you need validation for this?
I've also spent a lot of money on multiple Weird Al meet and greets.
That seems bad.
That's not ridiculous.
No.
It was like $300 a pop.
Holy balls.
But I mean, why wouldn't you?
Thank you.
He deserves his money.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than most meat and greets I've seen. There's like, yeah.
Here's a dumb thing I did not spend money on, but almost did. So I was in this like Friends indie superhero movie in Texas, and so they showed it at the San Antonio Alamo Comic Con, and we're there. And my girlfriend at the time, we'd go up to Lori Petty. You know, she's from like Tank Girl, and she was on Orange is the New Black at that time and some stuff.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, there you go.
In
And
the
she
Army
walks up
now?
there and take it. No, this is in San Antonio, Texas.
No, I think she's in the army now.
Oh, I thought you said in Watertown.
Oh.
She's in
she was
it. Right. So my girlfriend walks up to her to take a selfie, and Lori goes, "No, I'm sorry, that's $35." And so I'm walking around the next day as drunk stormtrooper, party trooper. I have a stormtrooper helmet, and it's like a dumb white t-shirt, and then like floral swim trunks and flip-flops and a beer can, which almost got me kicked out. But and so people were taking pictures with the drunk stormtrooper. Then I took my helmet off, and some Whitest Kids fans came up, and they took a picture, and we pranked them. So they're like, "Oh, that'll be $35." They're like, "Wow!" I was like, "No, I would never do that. Like, how the fuck could you do that? Come on, Lori Petty."
That's why celebrities go to conventions
Yeah.
like that. It's all about.
By the way, I'll be appearing at the Arkansas Anime Con in early April. Probably being forced to charge for photos. I don't even know, but I'll try to be free.
Can you sell a selfie once you take this? Is there any way to monetize
Apparently you
that?
can. I don't know, man.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, like Instagram followers, and then you advertise products, and I mean,
Okay.
that's all that is.
All right.
I've heard Dustin.
No, you're right. It's sad. It's very.
Hey, whatever, man. As long as the wheels keep turning.
That's right.
Whatever.
A lot of celebrities.
Dustin
do
Diamond
that.
charges how much?
Like $20, probably something like
See,
that.
that is.
Wait, Dustin Diamond charges $20 for a selfie, but for $35 you can fuck him?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something. I mean, yeah, that's probably something. I don't want to do that. I would
Yeah.
never do that.
That's nuts. I mean, I asked for like $5-10 they're gonna take one, but like I'm not gonna charge 30. If you got spare change, give me it. But
I just
And,
asked.
and he's like, once they like hand him 5, he grabs their camera and takes their picture.
I just asked them for like whatever food they have with them. Yeah, let me see that popcorn.
I will weigh in my opinion on this when somebody gives a shit about my picture. Then I will have a much stronger opinion
Until that
on the
point.
market value.
I was filming we filmed like a series of shorts called Scalpers, and it's just all about people scalping tickets outside of Fenway. And we, super low budget, just a dude with like an iPhone and a little tripod. We're walking around scalping tickets, and I had a shirt that said Goodell is a douche. Who's the we're in a room of nerd comedians. I didn't know who he was, but so people around Fenway kept stopping me to take a picture of me because of my shirt.
Nice.
That's how stupid people are, and that's how easy it is to get a picture. And they probably could have charged them $10.
I saw a guy in Vegas on Furman Street or whatever it's called, and he was a panhandler, and his sign said "Go fuck yourself." It was hard to keep the dollar in my pocket. To be honest with you.
You know who I met a celebrity homeless guy once outside of Madison Square Garden. It's probably not the same dude, but he had the sign that said "Need money for a blow." The blowjob. I shouldn't have brought that story up, but clearly he just wrote another sign. It's probably not the same guy.
You thought it was the same sign?
For a second, I thought it was the same guy. When I was there, I was like, there he is.
You can find Flavor Flav out there. That was before Flavor of Love. He had spent so much money on crack. He was scalping tickets outside of basketball.
Oh, you meant real Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
You know what's worse though than celebrities charging for pictures is celebrity lookalikes charging for pictures. Like you mentioned Fremont Street, and they do that. They'll go dress up and stuff, or staying down in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, like on Bourbon Street. They'll be dressed up, and you're like, oh, can I get a picture?
And those guys make a good living doing that.
Oh, it's a whole industry.
Yeah, same with like Times Square and stuff.
Yeah. Do you think the guys with signs have any artistic integrity though? They're like, I wouldn't steal a clever saying for my sign, or is there just a pool of like, no man, go.
Are signs like clowns where you have to register?
I was just about to say that.
Go fuck yourself is selling.
Yeah, I mean, are they just all kind of like the fuck Jerry, where they just take the other guy's sign and clip off the name and attributions?
Well, like I used to get panhandled by guys in Minneapolis, and it's like they'd been to a seminar because they would all give you very specific details and why they need the money. My girlfriend of 27 and a half years and I are going to treatment, and I need $36.48 to take. And so it's never like even numbers. It's out because you're like, oh, he couldn't make up $37.46. This has to be true. He couldn't be just buying booze.
Yeah.
And like 5 guys would do that.
Same thing. There's a couple outside Manchester, New Hampshire, where there's an open mic I would go to. They always stop me and give me the same exact spiel.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, you guys, you see me every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I never have money. You're never going to that hotel. I'm aware of that, and I'll get aware of this, and I'm going. I was like, I'm never going to have money. You're always going to lie to me. I'm not doing this.
Well, for me, it was like, I'll just give you a fucking cigarette. You don't have to, you wouldn't need the song and dance here.
The one time I got panhandled, and I thought it was a prank, and I'm still not sure if it was or wasn't, but I've had people come up and do the I need money for gas or whatever. Yeah. Like that's a common one.
Yeah.
So I went to I was at a grocery store at like 12:30 a.m. buying booze, like right before they stopped selling. This is in Lincoln, Nebraska. We don't get a ton of this, but this is one time it happened. It was really strange. And a guy in a van was just sitting in the parking lot, and as I was coming out with my booze, he circled around, pulled up next to me, and asked me for money for gas from the driver's seat in the van. And I was like, this is a sketch or something is happening. It was the oddest thing. And it was one of those where I didn't really respond because it was the exact asking for change speech, but he was in a car that was running.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's rough.
What's the swearing policy on this?
Whatever it is, we've broken.
We've already blown it.
I should have asked.
Hopefully it's lots and lots.
Huh?
Let it fucking rip.
Right, let it rip.
Can I have another water?
Are we ready for another question?
Yeah, let's do another question.
I'll get one.
I also have to pee, though.
You can also go to the restroom.
Should I bring the camera with?
You gotta be in the jet.
Can we all
You guys want to come with?
Hey, I'll take a water.
Come on, you guys.
As long as you're getting water,
Do you want this? Or?
Sure, I'll take it. Do you guys want waters?
I'm good. I still got this one.
Okay. All right, you got it.
I think the most money I've spent is really just records.
Is that still the question?
My wife and I.
So let's talk about
I've never bought records, but my wife wife and I did a version of that
walking
with
up to
books.
the camera, going, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Right into it.
My wife and I decided, like, we're both really into books and reading and stuff. It's like one of the things we bonded over 20 years ago when we met. And so when we bought our first house, we were like, we're going to turn it into a library because that sounded really cool to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So we spent like hundreds of dollars on bookshelves. Like we found bookstores that were going out of business and bought like the double-sided like shelves and stuff. We bought 2 of these huge things and put them in the middle of our like the main room in our house, and we just lined our entire house with books, like buying used books, hitting like library sales and stuff, just like anything. And so eventually we filled our entire house with just books lining the walls, and then we sat in it for about 2 years being like, what the fuck do we do with these now? And then we just sold them all for probably 1/10 of what we paid for them. And it took years and years and a ton of money. But it was really satisfying to us for a little bit, like once we lived in a library.
Did you read any of them?
Oh yeah, most of them were just filler. You can't read 10,000 books, which is like what we had. But yeah, we read all the time.
Well, and it just occurred to me, like, if I was the people from Amazon Kindle, I would be like, way to make a fire hazard in your home. You know what won't engulf you in flames? A Kindle.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Next question.
Yeah, we got a real answer for the love of God.
Yeah, a really good one,
Who had a
too.
real answer? Oh, you did?
I-
Oh.
My wife and I bought like 10,000 books and then sold them all
Good one.
because we wanted to live in books.
I'm really bad at this. Your name's Jimmy, right?
Jimmy.
Okay, good.
What's your question, Spence?
When do you personally think The Simpsons should have ended?
Ooh, I'm into that one.
Let's do it.
I'll talk about.
Season 11.
I bet it's the same.
I was gonna say 12.
Yeah.
I'd say 10.
I was going to say after 10. Just because that's like the last one that I have on a DVD collection, and I want to feel validated in my purchases. So
I have the first 12. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you take every Simpsons season past like season 12 and pick out the good episodes, you get one more season out of it.
I think 13 is the last good ratio of a season.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's like if they quit at 12, it would be like Black Sabbath stopping before Technical Ecstasy.
Exactly.
But you should. Everyone deserves that one last shitty one.
Oh, yeah. Right now.
Season 14's got the
That's
Weird,
awesome.
Weird Al's in like season 14. Like,
Oh, yeah.
with
I think he's
Hallmark
yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
I think it's 13.
12 where they killed
13.
Mom.
I have no idea.
I
I think it's season 12, yeah.
How many seasons?
I've just been watching through them all. I should know more.
I check in periodically since like season 7.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I love you, you're brilliant, stop doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is yeah, once in a while there'll be something brilliant. The last time I watched New Simpsons was like 2003 or something,
Yeah.
and there was some Halloween episode about Bart and somebody else being able to stop time, and so they did a brilliant bit where Nelson is slowly moving, and every time he moves, he has like something else wrong with him because they're fucking with him as they freeze time.
Right.
And that was great. And I'm like, that's cool. And I think that's the last time I watched The Simpsons.
Wow.
You know?
Oh, and again, there's moments, it seems like, in every season
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, this is fantastic, but
Not worth it.
no.
I stuck it out till about 2004, 2005, and I just couldn't do it anymore. It's like,
They're a victim of their own success, though, right? It's a giant machine. It's a
you're-
giant.
they're never gonna because it still gets good rate. Like it still
Yeah.
makes fuck tons of money in merchandising. Like
Is it the 30th season?
yeah.
Yeah.
they just renewed for season 31 and season 32.
Yearly was just on WTF, and they were talking about it. And she just basically said, "We will never be off.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll never be canceled
Unless
we
the
pretty
actors
much."
die.
She was like,
Well,
we pretty
but even
much.
then, so-
she basically said they're pretty much locked in for life.
Yeah.
Like all the writers and all the people, like it's not going anywhere.
That's insane, dude.
I think the moment The Simpsons dropped off is right around the time Futurama premiered.
Yes.
There's the answer, right there.
Totally
Let's
agree.
let's see when this is.
It was like 1999.
because the
Yeah.
whole premise is that it's the year 2000 when he gets frozen.
Oh, yeah.
What Simpsons season is that? That's 10th season.
Yeah, that's
That's
10, 11 because
Yeah.
it starts in 1989. So
Because
yeah.
Futurama was brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's
No,
kind of like the energy went there.
That's exactly what I think. Yeah, all that creative brain power went to the new show, which
Yeah.
is also really good. Also, I think they could have stopped after the movie, and everybody would have been like, "All right, good call."
Perfect.
Yeah.
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 It was
If
okay.
If you're talking about
pretty
The movie
good.
was okay.
if you're talking about like a nice way to like button up the like the
Yeah.
Simpsons saga, that would be a great place for them to have ended.
I feel like because it's such an institution, though, and like she said, their writers grew up on this show and have been trained by this show to make this show. It's conceivable that there will be a new generation of writers who will breathe new life into it.
And we'll get to see a third and fourth episode where Bart gets an elephant.
Right. Yes.
They did 2 elephants in the first like 13 seasons.
I have a real question, actually. Since, Timmy, you're the only one who has a kid, what does she think of The Simpsons?
We don't really,
Is it
I
just
don't
old
have
people
TV.
stuff,
I haven't had TV for years, so we don't. We've never watched it. She's familiar with some of the characters. I'm teaching her chess, and I have a Simpsons chess set, so that's really her first exposure to the pretentious douchebag I saw.
Well, but that's exactly it, though, because I'm wondering if the 10-year-olds now who are like, I'm into The Simpsons, and people are like, you fucking pretentious douchebag.
Yeah,
it's like when we were kids going around being like, no, I like MASH, or like,
Right.
which is great. It is legit great, but like when you're 10, like no one's.
But what about, how would you compare it to South Park?
As far as
still being relevant, still being good, but you don't watch new stuff. Does anybody watch new South Park?
Occasionally.
From time to time.
I think it's cool that South Park still attacks the new stuff, new issues all the time, constantly.
That's why they're, yeah.
I think I think it's as good as it's been.
Is
Yeah.
it?
And I think it's
17
because
years, yeah.
it's a small shop.
That's what I hear.
I think it's just so it's apples and oranges though. South
Yeah.
Park is The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah,
South Park
for
is
sure.
all about what just happened and what can we talk about.
Yeah.
As
And
far
it's
as what
two guys.
animated
They
show
have a
from my
staff,
youth
but-
I would push on to my daughter, Beavis and Butthead.
Oh.
Like, you know what? I want you to get bad ideas. I don't want. Actually, that's why my parents, when I was a kid, did not want me to watch The Simpsons because they thought Bart was a bad influence.
Wow,
And I
yeah.
had to talk my way into it, being like, no, there was an episode where he did something, got expelled, and he learned to be good. which I think is a lie. But given there's 800 episodes now, I'm sure that
I think that happens
So-
like once every now and then.
Yeah, it's probably happened 11 times now.
I mean, like as a child, you were like, I'm gonna explain the moral value of this, and that would
Right.
be my. You couldn't just
And
say.
it's not, I'm too dumb to watch something to get bad ideas. I just wanted to see, stupid references.
It had a great reboot.
Yeah, the reboot was great.
Beavis and Butthead reboot. I thought was
Oh,
great.
was it good?
Was it good?
They
I didn't even know that
lasted
happened.
like 3 months. and then they
Howard
canceled
Kramer
it.
was involved in that. I think the guy from Who Charted.
Oh really?
Let me just throw out. Name
That
drop,
makes
you're
sense.
welcome.
Because they not only watching music videos, they were watching clips of like Teen Mom and Jersey Shore.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It seems like that would be with as much stuff as is going by, as much as we observe.
Garbage going on.
Yeah.
That would make
Yeah,
sense.
I love Mike Judge.
Yeah.
He's got a.
I stopped
head of
watching
a show.
Family Guy around 2008. Like
Okay.
2007, I got kind of tired of it. It's just like, I don't know.
Family Guy had a brilliant joke way early on, in like the second or third season, or maybe even before that, where Peter
Yeah.
is teaching his daughter to drive. And they're driving, and then they get into a race with a, Yeah, they get into a race. He teaches his daughter to drive. They get into a race with an Amish horse buggy.
Yep.
And take a tight turn, and the horse and buggy goes off a cliff, and the horse looks in the camera and explodes. I just thought that was brilliant. And I'm like, what, that's fine. I'm good with this show now. Like, I don't think
They have
that's
some
another one where
funny, they have
doesn't
some
have
funny
much.
gags.
Yeah.
I just it's
That's all that is a show of
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's just it's a plot
formula
based
that
it's a
got
plot
weird
based
and
around being able to be like this is it's like when you write a whole bit around one line you thought was funny.
Yep.
That's a show where I think that's an underserved empire, like the Seth MacFarlane empire. It's like,
You mean Fox?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, exactly, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, he had like 3 animated shows and a live action show at one point.
Yeah.
And they were all the same thing,
Yeah.
but it led to him being able to make the Orville, and the Orville is great.
I've heard the Orville
Is
is
it?
really cool.
It's Star Trek: The Next Generation.
It is actually
with
very
dick
good.
jokes, and it's amazing.
No, yeah,
I
it's-
tried
it's
watching
good.
it and I did not think it was amazing. In fact, I thought it was the opposite.
I'll revisit. I didn't like the first episode.
I tried. I gave it a few episodes.
What do you like, Star Trek?
I've always wanted to get another show.
It's good. It's very good.
And maybe that's why. Maybe it's because it's just Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, if you
And
don't
I'm
like
like,
It was wildly misadvertised as like a Seth MacFarlane vehicle.
Yeah,
like
that's-
people tuned in to watch like a Seth MacFarlane thing, and they found out it was just Star Trek: The Next Generation, with like 2 minutes of like asides, But if you like that, it's just that, and I love that. Like, that's my thing. Because the last 3 Star Trek series weren't Star Trek.
A Million Ways to Die in the West, I thought was great.
I laughed a lot at that.
That movie. I love that film.
I love how we were talking about The Simpsons and now we're not.
Which is kind of Seth MacFarlane's whole thing, right? Stealing thunder away from
But you know what? To tie it all together, here's what I'm thinking. So for Family Guy and Seth MacFarlane, as we've just seen evidence of, he does other shit.
Yeah.
And so, it would be interesting to see The Simpsons got people quit and do something new. Like, well, I would be open to hearing Yardley Smith voice a different character.
Yeah, no, those
you know what I
voices-
mean? Like that kind of stuff.
some of the best voice actors in a generation, and they're tied to
and
this
they're doing the
one
same thing for
project.
30 fucking
Yeah.
years.
Well, a lot of those writers and showrunners left to launch other shows, like The Critic.
Right,
Was,
yep.
Simpsons
Right.
disciple who left,
Yep.
and then we already talked about Futurama.
Yeah, Conan.
Yeah.
Anything.
And then they came back because their other projects.
Yeah.
Because The Simpsons ate their other projects.
Well, no, not necessarily. Well, just their other projects didn't work, and so they're
Because of The Simpsons. Because they're there.
maybe that's it. It's because
Which is a great
they were
South
talking
Park
about
episode.
it that they had more
Right.
freedom
Simpsons did it, yeah.
on The Simpsons, where they went to these other shows and they were doing these other shows, but the studios had more control and they didn't have as much creative
Yeah.
freedom.
Right.
Well,
The
that's
Simpsons
money,
is
too.
pretty much they can do whatever the fuck they want,
Right.
and so that's why they kept going back.
They should kill off the entire family and start new if that's what they can do.
And Seth MacFarlane himself has said, I have not written for Family Guy in 10 years.
Oh yeah.
He has very little to do with it.
Yeah, he just does the voices.
His name is on it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, as far as like the actual production and the writing and any of that, he doesn't.
He hasn't done it in years, yeah.
Because he's concentrating
Same
on
with Matt Groening. Only wrote like 6 episodes
Yeah.
of The Simpsons since it aired.
Yeah.
It was
Like he wrote the beginning.
Sam
short.
Simon's the guy, right?
They have like,
That was all my fact I knew.
Oh shit! That's right. I did not
James
mean to
L.
call you
Brooks
that.
and Sam Simon and Matt Groening, they like developed it or whatever. But
Yeah.
And Al Jean was a big one too.
Yeah.
he was a
For a
showrunner
minute.
for a long time.
Yeah.
One of them is like the unsung hero that like doesn't get the credit, but did like a lot of the shaping of it.
Mike Scully?
Silverman, maybe?
I don't know.
I
Have you
I
guys
never
watched?
really like. I watched The Simpsons here. My dad is a huge fan of
Mhm.
Simpsons and Futurama. Like every DVD set, every season, he has it all. So he always watched it. But like growing up, this is my only real fond Simpsons memory. Before Simpsons was The Simpsons, when they were on the Tracy Ullman show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when they started or whatever. I remember being at my grandma's and it being on a channel that she did not get. And so it had it was an old TV, where it has the lines going through it, and you can
Right.
kind of hear the sound and the static and whatever, and you can kind of see the pictures. I remember watching The Simpsons like that on the Tracy Ullman show.
Nice.
And so the point is, I'm fucking.
Have any of you seen Tales from the Tour Bus? A lot of it's on YouTube. It's Mike Judge's new project where he interviews like country singers or he does one with P-Funk and he just tells stories from the road, but it's
I've heard
animated in
that.
that King of the Hill style.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard
That sounds
fantastic.
awesome.
So good.
Did you guys watch Silicon Valley?
Yes.
Yeah.
That became like my favorite show.
That's
great.
really good.
Yeah.
A couple seasons behind it, yeah.
It
You got
was a
time.
show that like never dropped off throughout its entire run. King of the
Yeah.
Hill.
King of the Hill was great. Yeah.
Great the whole way through.
Yeah.
Mike Judge, baby.
Thank God.
And
it's
he
on
predicted the future of the country.
Oh, Mike Judge.
One movie that nobody saw.
Hulu. Dude, yeah, Idiocracy.
Yeah.
That is-
That is the one Mike Judge project where I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah, but then it happened.
Really? I thought
I
it
thought
was
that
great.
was about
The
outsourced.
only inaccurate thing in that movie is that it takes 500 years for us to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like
We guessed
outsourced?
5.
I haven't seen Outsourced.
Well, that's why you feel that way.
What about Extract?
I
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking
I
about
like
Extract.
Extract. No one else
Good.
liked it. I enjoyed it.
I love
I
it.
hated Extract.
Thank
No.
you.
Well,
I thought
come
it was
on.
great.
I'm not gonna fucking.
But this is dumb.
Who would have thought that's what
He's got everything he needs on his phone
this
now.
whole time I've been trying to get Spencer to leave.
I know,
And
really.
it turns out that it's just an extract that
So we're not gonna let him back in, right?
No.
No.
Shit, I think it's his question too, isn't it?
No, that was
Yeah, the
actually.
Simpsons do.
He's up.
Should we move
You
on?
should.
Yeah.
Do it, Alan.
Well, should we wait for him or?
No.
I think.
We'll catch him.
No.
Wait for
And nobody tell him the topic.
No,
Let's just see if he
No,
picks
that just happened.
Yeah, it was on purpose.
Let's see if he picks up the topic just from the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that.
That one's
too.
not English, dude. What's the biggest not big lie you ever told?
The littlest lie. I had to reword some of that.
Huh?
That literally says, "What's the biggest non-big lie you have ever told?"
Like the biggest, like white, like the fit, like the
Like the
biggest.
Like the
littlest
white lie?
lie you ever told. The littlest.
But that's a big lie.
Yeah, me do it.
I did pretend I was from Canada for 3 months in college, though, and I had a Canadian accent. I think that was the one.
It's fair.
Thoughts on romantic comedy should put the genre to sleep.
Oh,
We've already
We're
talked
talking
movie
about
genres.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Here we go. If Metallica switched lead singers with U2, which band would you hate more? It's all right, John.
That's a great.
All right, tell Spencer what the question is.
It's what's the biggest little lie you've ever
Yeah,
told?
what's the no, that's not it.
biggest non-big lie you've ever told?
Guys, I think Metallica should have ended after season 11.
City Anger. That was the last great one.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Have they made more albums since then?
Yeah.
No, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well,
have.
three.
They made one in the last like 10 years, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm on the Quit After Black album
this year.
board.
The
They're-
doc-
After Black album, you mean?
Yeah.
The documentary about Metallica is really fascinating.
I saw.
It is weird to watch them cry.
Yeah.
I saw Metallica live last year. It was one of the best shows I've ever been to. And I'm just a casual.
Dude, I stumbled. I went to a Warped Tour or Lollapalooza 20 years ago that they were headlining, and I wasn't like a fan at all, and I walked away a fan. I was like, this is the greatest live thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love them. I found them at just the right time. I actually had a debate when I was in like 10th grade, like, yeah, but Rat, you can have sex to it. My friend's like, yeah, but Metallica's heavy. And then like full on Metallica. But after Master of Puppets, first of all, I'm happy they're doing well. I do not begrudge them their success. I'm glad people like metal, but I still stopped after. To me, Injustice for All was like, this is a little.
If after Master of Puppets, the lead singer became Bono.
Yeah, because that's the question.
I'm really thinking hard about
I'm
this.
really trying, yeah.
I think Metallica might be good with Bono.
I can see it.
Are they?
I'm having fun enjoying James Hetfield have to put up with
Can
it.
somebody,
I hold it would help both bands.
Now,
can
here's the
somebody
thing.
do this?
Is
Like, Zach, you're a musician. Come on.
would Metallica get a second guitarist? And would the Edge allow James Hetfield to also play guitar in U2?
Oh.
And do you want to hear every Metallica song start with?
No, see, that's the Edge though. That's Edge. That's not Bono.
Yeah, but so then he'll be backing up Hetfield. So wait, is Hetfield singing you two songs with you too?
Yes.
And now I'm singing Metallica songs. Okay.
Wouldn't it just be gold to hear? Uno, dos, tres, catorce. I still haven't found. It's alright, yeah. That place called Vertigo. Bloody Sunday, Sunday, bloody Sunday. Streets have no name.
Let's just do this for 3 hours.
Can anybody do a Bono impression? I can't picture
I'm
it.
trying to figure that out.
Wait.
Hey everybody, I can walk on water.
Wait, don't both bands have a song called One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no God!
That's what made you realize that?
Secret weapon, this guy.
So nobody's got a Bono impression?
I'm trying to think.
What is a Bono impression?
I think it's.
My impression of Bono.
I got something to say. I killed your
wear
baby
sunglasses.
today.
Just wear sunglasses to cover up your eye wrinkles and pretend you're important. That's my impression of Bono.
Tick tock.
So my friend
I think Metallica might be good if Bono sang it.
I can see it.
I'd give that a
It
shot.
would be power ballads.
Here's the thing. You give me a double album of the best U2 sung by Hayden Caulfield and the best Metallica sung by Bono. I'll fucking listen to that.
Yeah.
Hayden Caulfield.
I sure did.
Well, who's the guy that does the lounge version?
Richard Cheese.
Yeah, that's Bono singing Metallica.
Of Wolf and Man.
That was one of the best shows I've seen. Was Richard Cheese.
Richard Cheese.
That guy knows how to work a crowd. It was
Yeah.
a hoot.
I'm sorry, what?
I was just gonna say the string of murders he went on in Los Angeles in the late '80s was great too. That's a Richard Chase joke, anyway. I'm God. Thanks so much for having me.
My friend Joey, who lives here, I don't know why. Whatever. He's cool.
My friend Joey.
Years ago, we were partying and we had Party Brains on, and we were fucked up. And he had this idea. He's like, I think Tool and Radiohead should switch frontmen for an album. I was like, that's
intriguing.
awesome. And I also think that Ween and They Might Be Giants should trade partners and each do an album.
I'm
I
not
think
sure
that
you
could be
notice.
interesting. Huh?
I don't
think you'd notice that?
You would
Well, I
notice
think,
so
but I
hard.
think because all Ween stuff is so different, so I think Ween could do a really good. They Might Be Giants, and they might be. I mean, I don't think that's like a
But They Might Be
crazy
Giants
idea.
hop genre a lot too.
Yeah, I see. I don't think that's that crazy of an idea.
But I think
that's
They Might Be
neat.
Giants is more fun
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah,
Like, it's even
I love
like
it. Those are probably two of my very favorite bands.
Yeah.
And
How have we not talked about Ween?
I noticed you have a Ween tattoo. I
have
have a
two
Ween
Ween
sweat. I have a
tattoos.
Ween t-shirt that Oh, I'm not
Do you
wearing it,
have a
but.
Ween on your Ween?
No, I have a lady fucking an alligator on my leg.
Wait, how does that? Wait, is that a Ween reference?
Yeah, voodoo lady.
Oh!
Midnight, she's a howling, stomping, making love to the gators in the swamp.
Oh shit!
Turns out
yeah.
you don't like weed.
Let's see your ink, pussy.
Do you like Ween so much that getting tattoos would prevent you from ever teaching?
I did. All that ran through my head when he was like, I have 2 Ween tattoos, and Timmy went, and I have a t-shirt. The same level, same thing.
I only have one tattoo that's like I don't know how to beat it, so I'm gonna
No lie, the reason why I'm not into Metallica is the dude who tried getting me into it had a Metallica tattoo on his calf.
Wow.
And something about that was so off-putting.
I thought you were gonna say he flew out of a bus.
If there's ever a reason to hate a band, that's a good reason to hate a band.
Yeah, this is really intimate. But if you peel back my urethra, it says boogie oogie oogie. That's my Ween.
I don't like that you said that.
Well, then you should never Google split penis then. Never Google split penis. So that you can make it one statement. That's how you do it. When you want to search like the full statement on Google, you put it in quotes. Don't image search it especially.
You gotta bake it to get the good results.
Put your,
Now a
And then
blooming
if you
penis.
microwave a hot dog for too long, you get kind of the same.
Oh, jeez, dude. Where it splits and bubbles.
That's my,
Right? Yeah,
that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
euphemism for it.
Now, where do you guys land on microwaving hot dogs?
don't do it.
33 seconds in the bun, wrapped up in a napkin.
With the bun, too?
Fucking heathen.
No, dude, I'm the fucking hot dog guy. Yeah, come on.
I'm with you, man. I think a microwave hot dog
Timmy
is
is
the greatest
legit
lunch.
indignant right now.
No, here's the thing, man. Is the last 10 years of my life, every time I say anything about anything online, at least one 14-year-old says, hot dogs. So I get to have an opinion. About hot dogs. When I write like a 6-paragraph screed about like gender issues and how I'm trying to raise my daughter better
Sure,
and
sure.
hot dogs. It's like, so I get to tell you what I want about microwaving hot dogs, God damn it.
As a person who's worked in the food industry, I would ask you, is it that fucking hard to boil a pot of water?
Yeah,
No, but it's like
Okay.
10 minutes.
Exactly.
dude,
yeah.
sometimes you
But
get
it's
a
so
wiener in
much
your mouth
better.
in 30 seconds or less.
Yeah.
I know. I said that on purpose that way.
No,
So I
no.
know.
I was going to work it back into Jucket.
Okay, so you're all about microwave and you're all about boiling.
It's not
How do we
microwave.
stand on frying?
Frying.
I'd rather
Fry, of course, fry.
I actually what I use
Boiling is the lowest form of
Right.
hot dog.
yeah, I use crock pot and cast iron for almost everything now. It's fucking awesome.
I just eat them cold and wet out of the package.
I knew a kid that did that.
It's like, I ain't got time to cook this shit.
That's weird. Is it good?
Slice of white bread, and no, but it doesn't matter.
It's just thick bologna. That.
No, but it doesn't matter.
He's not eating. When you're doing that, it's not to taste something good.
Yeah.
Does James Lindsey look like a man who has standards for himself?
Do any of us?
No.
Touche.
Let's do another question. You guys are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, The Simpsons, right?
No, Metallica do too.
Oh.
Now I want to hear Bono sing.
Now I wanna
I brought up the Tool Radiohead thing and then we didn't talk about it. I think that'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
like
so
to
it's like
hear
I'd be
Tom,
down for that.
what's that goofy guy's name? Tom York?
Tom York.
Sing like Anima or something, you know? think
I always thought, like, what if in their primes, like at their peaks, Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith had switched to lead guitarists? That's
that's interesting.
Because I always felt like Joe Perry and Slash had a lot in common with the way they played. Anyways,
I think Aerosmith would be better with Slash.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're not good.
A friend of mine just showed
All
me.
right, they're not good. So if you put a good person,
What if you give him like a talented person?
A friend of mine just showed me a video of Michael Jackson performing with Slash on stage, and Slash keeps going with the solo for a long time, and Michael Jackson keeps trying to signal to get him to shut up. So he keeps like grabbing his crotch like, "Come on, stop!" And Slash does not give two fucks.
That's
great.
good. Because
You probably couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I was Googling Bono sings Metallica, and it's one of the rare times that the internet has failed.
Oh.
But after
I think the
this,
internet fails all the time.
I think the internet itself is a failure.
Yeah.
We should not have it.
but I wish something, and I
Thank
didn't
you for
get my
tuning
wish.
in live online.
So get on it, Tim's friend.
Get the fuck off your computer and just come into this room.
I mean, for the record, that would be better if we were just doing this in front of
The Dresch
What we
Code.
do. Just describes comedy.
Yeah, just describe stand-up comedy.
What if you just on like on a stage doing this, and a bunch of the people were there and had pizza?
Wouldn't it feel
No,
good?
they're
There's
gonna
like
yell at you.
the immediate feedback of like laughter in there, and that would be special.
I was
Too bad that's never gonna happen.
Yesterday was great watching comics from like California and like healthy towns be like, why is everyone drinking soda and eating pizza?
I said we're in a pizza place.
Yeah,
And you're
you
like,
saw two shows at a pizza place.
yeah, you're not tuning in a pizza place. Why is everybody eating pizza? That's a pizza
I
restaurant.
told I forget. I think a couple of people did.
Yeah.
Mike DeVore, right? That's his last name. He did a joke yesterday about how you ever notice when you talk to a Lyft driver that they're always like, "This isn't my only job, dude. I also do like a VR game company. We're rooming together." And I went up to him when I got back to the hotel. I was like, "You do?" That was like the most LA joke you could have told. You ever notice South Dakota? How every Lyft driver runs his own VR company?
Yeah.
So that is because I was
But they
in
have
Vegas
Lyft here, don't
and I
they?
used
Yeah.
Lyft the whole time, and I didn't write the joke about it because I was wondering, but that's the real deal, right? Because literally the guy was like, "Well, I'm a business investor."
Yeah.
And then why the fuck are you driving Lyft? See, that's what's nice about taxi
Because
drivers. You don't have to lie.
invest.
But it's also even if you are doing, I don't care. I'm not getting in this.
Yeah.
Thing. I don't call a Lyft just to be like, I think you're a fucking piece of shit because this is your only job.
Yeah.
I call up to not get tickets.
Yeah, listen, dude, I have a car and I called a Lyft. You're already better than me.
Yeah, great. Here's our exchange. Here's money. Give me a ride. Thank you. I don't care about your life.
I call Lyft not to be talked to, so you get me where I'm going on time and with one try.
Also, I farted.
Instead of talking.
Please carry me home, peons.
That's Stan Bublitz, everybody.
Yeah.
No, it's
You must
not
be there in that little Joffrey, in the little Joffrey cart that Joffrey makes his people take him through the city.
Well, I do have a dog now, so I'm getting a little dog now, so I'm getting a little pretentious. So there's that.
Let's do another
But
question.
no, it's annoying.
The fact that he's
He's like, oh god, I don't want to hear about his dog.
the fact that he's holding that, my anxiety has been like
Have
doing
you guys
this the whole time.
Have you guys ever been in a basement smoking weed and there's just one guy holding the bong and he refuses to stop talking?
Give this man a ferret, and he will be there.
I thought if you had the jar, you had the floor. Yes. I'll hunt you, crush your head with a rock.
Also, should we get
More of the flies, right? We're all okay.
There's a 3 a.m. version of this podcast where people end up throwing up in that, but that's a whole different
It's a whole.
So we got price decline. This is very fancy. We can talk about you save Blitz, but speaking of the internet of a little while ago, this is a kind of a good one for that. Why are memes so popular?
What?
That's saying why is air breathable? I mean, the defining quality is that it's...
what makes a meme is it being popular.
Yeah.
Because memes existed before, like, the photo format.
Yeah.
Like, the meme is a term about, like, recurring popular culture references and stuff.
Well, it's a transmission of an idea,
Yeah.
I believe is what the actual definition is. Not to be sorry.
No, but you're right.
Okay, you guys.
I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna
I was
get us
kind of
into a real
into it, and they
conversation.
ruined it. They got too serious about it.
Well, it was
It's a
dumb-
meaningless question.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
I was
it
going
was
to
a
get
dumb
real
question. You
hateful
should
with
feel
it,
bad
so.
for asking it.
Yeah.
Look, there are no stupid questions. There are only stupid people who talk.
Because of memes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna be very negative about it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the words "fat Jew" and all those guys who fucking ruin comedy.
Oh,
The
yeah.
guy, not I'm
It would be great if you just stopped.
Ruined
I was gonna say
comedy,
the words fat
movies,
Jew.
the moon landing.
Is the spelling bee a sport?
Yes.
Discuss.
Yes, we don't have to talk about it.
Let's just do a quick vote. Who says it's a sport?
Sure.
No. God. Oh, God. We have to move on because I will talk about this for a long time.
Now I'm super fucking curious. Huh?
What?
New
He said he was
question.
going to talk about it forever, so I'm like, new question.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. What would be a nightmare concert for you to attend?
Probably
I mean,
Bono
that question has
fronting-
U2 in it. So.
Probably Bono fronting Metallica.
No, dude, I'd be
A nightmare
really. I once saw Shine Down and Stained.
Wow.
That was upsetting.
Who sang I would walk 500
The
miles?
Proclaimers. I have a great sad joke about that.
They should have like a whole tour with just duos, like the Proclaimers and the Rembrandts.
Yeah.
What if Sarah McLachlan just played on stage with a bunch of sad dogs? That'd be a bad concert.
It's like, have you seen Rob Zombie live where he has like women in cages and stuff? Dogs.
It's just like sick dogs that are clearly dying in the cages.
I was like, I don't even.
Why not? Because nobody knows what it is. That's why.
Yes.
What was it?
Volbeat. Why not?
Someone asked me on Facebook. I'm like, sure, I'll write it down.
What is Volbeat?
It's a rockabilly band from Europe.
Ah, all
It was
right.
a shoe.
What
It was a
video
Pokemon.
games had the best music?
What
Grand
video
Theft
games?
Auto.
Had the best music.
Total.
That's a cheat though.
Maximum
that's like
Carnage.
popular culture
That's real
music
music.
in a video game.
So?
Yeah, I think we're talking
I
about
think
it.
we're talking about what's written for the game.
It only took like 10 draws, but we got it.
Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo.
That had some good ones.
Followed by
Crash
Donkey Kong
Bandicoot.
Country 2.
Every
Crash Bandicoot music by Mark Mothersbaugh.
Oh, really?
Also made by
I gotta
Rare.
replay that.
I'm sure the same company that did Donkey
No, that was
Kong.
Naughty Dog.
That's a heavy one.
That's similar stuff.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, yeah.
Man, whipping out the knowledge.
I got into a lot of my music by playing Tony Hawk.
There you
Yeah.
go.
A lot of that stuff.
Well, and I wasn't trying to dump on the popular
No, it's
culture
okay.
thing,
I
but
see
like,
the- I see the-
you know,
I see
people
the
that
difference.
compose music for video games versus. But yeah, I mean, Grand Theft Auto really brought that style of video game soundtrack up a notch. But I think Tony Hawk probably started it.
Because there was
Yeah.
punk, there was metal, there was
Yeah.
rap, everything was on it.
That's the
Both
only
of
reason
those
I
games have inspired me to buy stuff that I hadn't bought.
Sure. There's that horrible Goldfinger song that comes up way too much in Tony Hawk. I get all around the time. That one. I'm a Superman. Ah, fuck you.
But you do get the lyrics though, because we're
What
all
is that
getting
song?
older all the time, right? Like, you know,
I did a really bad.
Oh.
I did a really Goldfinger Superman. I did a really bad impression.
Madden
That was actually my favorite.
had
Yeah.
some good soundtracks.
Yeah.
Some of the Madden games.
Hit triangles.
no, a lot of those sports games, like those sports games,
games
have
are-
good,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
every
Madden.
NBA game.
The NHL games
solid.
have good soundtracks.
There was like 4 years there where Alien Ant Farm was on every soundtrack.
Yeah.
I like the old Super Nintendo games with songs turned into like 8-bit music.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Maximum Carnage has Black Sabbath in it and stuff.
That's cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first level of Maximum Carnage is Mob Rules, and it's just this insane
Wow.
8-bit guitar solo.
There is a
That's
cool,
awesome.
there's a cool PS2 game where you can play Atari games on the game system, but then they play 80s music in the background. It's a lot of cool 80s pop hits that were like always something there to remind me and
Oh, cool.
stuff like that. And deeper cuts like Berlin's No More Words, stuff like that. So it's
That's
actually
awesome.
pretty interesting. And yeah, a lot of cool ones. I'm trying to think what else.
But the game that had the best soundtrack.
What's that?
Guitar Hero.
Oh, right.
I thought you
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah,
I was gonna
right.
say Leisure Suit Larry. I don't know.
There's a video game that my brothers and I played on computer that had, I still remember remember the song, and it's very simple, but the game was Syndicate Plus, where you are basically a crime overlord and you design your cyborg hit squad and you go kill other criminals. But the song is so great. Do 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 do. It's just that.
I was hypnotized.
Yeah, you should, maybe that's
You
what
should do that on stage for a good 5 minutes.
Did anyone ever play a game called Grim Fandango?
Yeah.
That game was awesome. It had a great soundtrack and it was really funny too.
All those Tim Schafer Double Fine games have awesome soundtracks.
Psychonauts.
Huh?
Pretty good Psychonauts.
My daughter and I are playing Psychonauts right now because it's on Xbox backwards or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so she's, that game was made way before she was alive, but she's like, this is amazing. Psychonauts is a game where you're at a summer camp for psychic kids and all the levels take place in other people's minds.
Oh, cool. That's amazing.
Awesome. It's really rad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you guys played the Friday the 13th online game?
No.
They made? It's pretty sweet. But the way the score works is that if you're a counselor, like you're either Jason or you're one of the 7 counselors and you try to not get killed or murder everybody. But when you're a counselor, Jason's getting closer because it acts like a movie score. And so like the song just keeps getting more and more. And it's all kind of very derivative of the old movie soundtrack.
With the strings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I did play that once.
It does, yeah.
It does?
Cool.
That's cool.
And then you can be one of the skins for Jason is the old Nintendo Jason, and so if that happens when he gets closer. It turns that old 8-bit music, and it's just so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, a game that you don't hear anyone talk about, Rayman Legends.
Yeah,
was a side scroller, really tough side scroller that came out a couple years ago, and they have music levels in it.
yeah, count the toothpicks and win blackjack.
Butthole. Rayman, that's Rayman. Anyways, there's these levels in Rayman where they're music levels, so you're running and the jumps are all to the beats of the song and stuff, and the songs are covers. So there's an instrumental mariachi cover of "Eye of the Tiger," which works really, really well.
Sounds awesome.
There's a cover of Black Betty in there. There's a couple other random songs and. It's great, but yeah, the mariachi version of "Eye of the Tiger."
Metalachi is amazing. It's a band that they do heavy metal covers in the stylings of mariachi.
That's awesome.
That sounds great.
A mariachi cover of Eye of the Tiger sounds like an idea that the robot devil from Futurama had.
Dude, it's so good though.
No, they play heavy too.
Okay,
It is heavy metal.
it's like a mix of.
Yeah, they do heavy metal songs and they do it heavy metal, but they play mariachi instruments and it's amazing. A buddy of mine was their backup band. They're a pretty famous band. They tour quite a bit throughout the world and doing shit. I've seen them a couple times when I was out in California. They were really good.
Did you guys ever listen to Rockabye Baby? They're lullaby covers of different, they did one for Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
They did
Yeah.
one for David Bowie, that's really cool.
They do a Beastie Boys one, or is that something else?
They probably do a
Thanks,
Beastie
yeah.
Boys one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dress code.
Dresch go.
Ready for another one?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Movies you hate starring people you love.
Oh, there's so many goddamn movie
I
questions.
know. It's just unintentional. There's a ton of comedy ones in there. How did those not get played?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one?
Did you ever see Miss March?
Greatest Comedy Central show that people forgot about.
Strangers with Candy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Important things with Dimitri Martin.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Almost Live was a sketch show
Yeah.
in the very beginnings of Comedy Central that was pretty good. Actually, that's where Bill Nye Science Guy started. It was on Almost Live.
No kidding.
Yep. He had a segment on Almost Live.
Someone did a cut to that last night. They're referencing.
I referenced Almost Live last night.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Short Attention Span Theater?
Oh fuck yeah!
That was good.
Oh, that's
yep.
good.
Yep.
Beat the Geeks.
Beat the Geeks.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Win Ben Stein's
Win
money.
Ben Stein.
Yeah.
Win Ben Stein's-
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel in his infancy.
Yeah.
Or Hollow Man. It was a British sketch show that was on Comedy Central for a while. Hollow, yeah.
Where was the Young Ones was MTV, right?
Yeah, that was on TV. What's that sketch show? It was a British sketch show that was so fucking, or not sketch show, prank show. Trigger Happy
TV.
Dude, that show was
Yeah.
awesome. The guy with the giant the best prank was the dude to be
bird in my memory.
Dude, He's sitting in a movie theater and you hear, this is in the early 2000s, so it was that cell phone ring that everybody had the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and he gets up, hello! He's got a cell phone like the size of a suitcase. Yeah, I'm at the movie theater! You know, like, so funny, man.
Or he'll come out of an elevator or something like that.
Yeah. Or like they'll do the ones where there'll be a camera set up on the corner of a street and you'll see someone come out of like a laundromat or whatever, go around the corner, and like a second passes, and then they run back, just running. And there's a mob of like 40 people in Easter Bunny suits just like chasing them. Just crazy shit like that. I love it.
That's awesome. I was describing to a coworker the other day the bit they did where they dressed up as cute Bethels and they went and were advertising the Church of Satan ice cream social outside of a like Anglican church that was like just getting out with the congregation and stuff like that. It's like, come Church of Satan ice cream social, and they were like actually getting physically attacked by people.
Wow. They didn't know where a dude in a Jason outfit goes into a laundromat and he just like starts loading up the machines with bloody clothes.
Yeah.
He's got like a hockey mask and a knife. He's just loading up the clothes.
I feel like no one ever remembers Hollow Man.
I don't remember that
I
at
don't know
all.
what that is.
It's just a sketch show.
I remember the name. I remember seeing the
Yeah.
name on an advertisement, I guess.
But isn't that the same name of the Kevin Bacon gets
Yes.
his
Hollow Man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Where Kevin Bacon takes his clothes off and walks around with a see-through penis.
That's how I describe it.
That was the elevator pitch for the movie, I believe.
Yeah. Well, the lot of it's an infrared. Like, because that's the only way they can see him.
Yeah.
And he's naked, and so they just see his big infrared wiener just flopping around.
That's necessary.
I mean, I think
What's
so.
that weird ass Comedy Central show? It was like an animated show that got fucked up. Drawn together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Is that one
good.
any good though?
Yeah,
I never
that's
saw
Drawn
it.
Together.
That's all.
That was Jimmy Kimmel, I believe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Or they had Insomniac with David Tell.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
That was.
I love that.
Oh,
That was a great
man.
show.
I missed
I
that.
forgot about
Watching that until the Girls Gone Wild commercials came on it.
Yeah.
This guy's got my number.
Speaking of Mattel, did any of you guys watch Bumpin' Mics?
That was great.
I thought it was
I have not
amazing.
watched it yet.
What was it?
It's called Bumpin' Mics. It's a Netflix comedy
Jeffrey
special.
Ross and David Tell.
And a
Kinda
whole
go back
bunch of pop-ups with it. It's like 3 shows they recorded. They did a whole weekend at a club in New York. They did 3 shows. Each show is a different episode, and they had guest comics and
cool.
stuff. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
Check that one out.
A lot of funny stuff.
Yeah, it's weird how Netflix and some of the other streamers have maybe stolen a lot of the steam there because I mean, but Comedy Central still airs lots of new specials though. Functions just did one.
and it was the highest rated one they've ever done.
Functions one was?
Apparently.
Oh,
For
good.
him, man.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Can I name drop,
Yeah.
tie together a story, and bring it all in? Because you
please.
talked about the Girls Gone Wild, which Doug Stanhope did Girls Gone Wild commercials for a little while. Doug Stanhope was doing a hidden camera show for Fox called When Hidden Cameras Attack that I think aired, if it aired like 1 episode. They were trying to shoot it in Los Angeles and it wasn't working because Los Angeles is over it. So they came to Minneapolis to shoot it and I got to drive them around and we were having lunch, we were pitching ideas. And I said the idea could be you would walk into a bar wearing hospital scrubs and you go, I just got a new liver and I want to try it out. And if they'll sell you the drink, have them pour it into the IV bag. And it worked.
Really?
And I got paid a whole burrito for that.
Ooh.
Because I'm good at negotiating.
That's more than a lot of people make for their ideas. So.
Sadly,
What type of burrito?
that was beef.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, you know.
It could have been chicken.
Standard burrito.
Yeah.
Adult
It's a
Swim
biggie.
is doing this thing where it's on Thursdays where you can like live chat with people and pitch ideas to Adult Swim. And
Suckers.
well, if you have to sign this agreement first. And I read through it because my friend was like, we should do this. And I was like, there's no way this is good. And I read through the agreement and it says so much shit like, you don't know if we've come up with an idea that's almost exactly the same as already, that we might already be in production on. And it's so much of like, anything you type, you essentially give up to them. And they also point out that they might already be working on it anyway, so you can't prove that it was your idea.
Spotify, they reserve the right to own anything you pitch to them. Like all you have to do is pitch them if you pitch them a podcast, they can be like, "Cool, great idea. We're gonna make it with somebody else."
I didn't know Spotify made stuff.
That's vulgar.
They're really
Really big
moving.
podcast, like one of the biggest podcast companies. So Spotify is going to take over the
Yeah.
podcast world.
they're coming for the podcast game.
Wow.
Back to that release form thing. I recently had like a release form to submit to Conan sent to me, and it's the exact same thing. Like anything you submit in this packet is pretty much ours now as soon as you submit it.
But I feel like Conan's legit. I mean, I'm not saying comedy. I'm not saying those guys aren't. But but it sounds like they're doing just this shotgunning.
Yeah, I mean that sounds way more direct. The one I brought up was seemed way less legit.
That seems very sketchy. That sounds like because there is parallel thinking.
Yeah.
But this seems like, hey, the world, throw us your shit, and oops, oh, you're right. We just thought. I mean,
Yeah, well,
We already thought of that.
Yeah.
If you already have a bunch of great shows in pre-production, you're not asking the world to pitch you ideas.
Exactly.
exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be famous, so they don't care.
Yeah. Although, I mean, if they did it as just like an improv show, like, pitch us your idea, and we will instantly do that idea in the moment. That's my idea. The
Shark
thing I
Tank.
just said, by the way.
Mail this podcast to yourself so that way.
I will.
You gotta hold up your phone so it shows the date and time.
Right.
Because we can't change those on our phones.
Who's president?
And Photoshop doesn't exist.
Should we do one more question?
But yeah, one more to wrap it up.
What time is it?
What's
We
for
need to
lunch
eat
would also be a
Oh,
good
perfect.
question.
It's almost 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I'll
like
do
2
the
o'clock.
last
I'm gonna
one.
go eat
Oh, well,
lunch.
you'll hold the last one? Here, you can have these two.
All right. Poorly worded ones.
That's
All right.
Oh, it's already 3 o'clock.
And then we'll do shameless plugs and then call it a day.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Make it a good one. Usually every episode I pull out like 6 because they're all shit. But
For some reason, yeah, the last draw is always shit.
yeah. Which venue do you prefer comedy? Club, theater, or arena?
Oh, I
We'll
did
talk about
this.
that.
That's actually, yeah, that's a good
To watch or
Or watch or either one.
I'm gonna go basement. All the
See,
way.
yeah,
Basement. Yeah.
Danker the better, man.
Yeah, we ran for a little over 2 years a basement venue in Boston, and it was like the most fun shit you can do. And it's just like it's tiny, it's intimate, it's so dark in those. You can smoke weed, and there's just a lawless environment where it's almost like a safe zone out of the fact that there's no rules to it,
Yeah.
except that like 4 people got bit by a dog.
You're selling it.
And no,
that's the kind of shit. I mean, that would be to me like the fourth answer. There is theater, club, bar, or what were the answers?
I have
Arena.
one club theater.
Arena?
But I guess there's basement or house party.
I need to as weird a venue as
Shows are
possible.
inside, too.
The lower the ceiling and like the tighter the space,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
better.
I don't know how many of us have performed in arenas, so I don't know that we can say that we hate those. But just like I'd rather perform for 30 people in like a tight room.
Yeah, the answer is arena, because if you're performing
Yeah.
there, it means you have 10,000
Yeah.
fans.
Well, here's. I just saw Bill Burr in Minneapolis, and that's a theater, like it's a really
Yeah.
big theater, and I wished it had been in a club because you can see it.
Yeah.
Do you know 4th and B in San Diego? That's like 1,200, which is the biggest venue I've done, and
I'll take it.
Right.
I mean, it's weird when you get a laugh and they bono you up on the screen.
Yeah.
And when you laugh though, you're like, wow, that's a big fucking laugh. Okay, I should have brought a book.
Yeah.
But I think clubs are the best. Ultimately, I mean, if you could make arena money in a club, I think that's the ideal situation. They're very monetary.
I'm definitely
Right.
most comfortable in a club setting.
I just don't like clubs' policies towards the audience, which is what when we were starting like Latest Kids in New York in like 2001 or 2 or whatever, when we first started doing stuff together. We didn't want to do clubs because all of our friends were poor, and that was before anyone knew who we were, so that's who was going to come to our show. And the comedy clubs were like, yeah, it's $10 and you got to buy 2 drinks a day.
Sure.
And we're like, no, fuck that. Let's just let's find a bar, let's find a thing, let's go do it also.
Sure.
And at the time in New York, there was a big movement in indie alt comedy to just do bar shows.
Right.
Where Fifi was a huge one, invite them up with Eugene
Yeah.
Bergman and Bobby Tisdale. And, we were doing our show. Ours was free, theirs was like $4 or $5. Everything was super cheap.
Right.
And so I've always enjoyed that,
Fair enough.
Just kind of finding a room that'll let you do comedy in it is all.
I think it's something like the least back end business, the better. Because that's
Yeah.
I hate the clubs in New York where it's just so nuts.
Yeah.
I got in an argument with a buddy of mine because I was telling him I might just go to the Comedy Cellar and just like go watch a show. And he's like, oh, that's a lot. And I was like, I don't know, tickets aren't that much. He's like, told me the tickets. I looked, I was like, oh, you have to buy food and or like 2 drinks. I was like, this is insane. I was like, why would they do that? He's like, dude, that's just what clubs are. And I was like, no, it isn't. That's what New York clubs are. Like,
That's what-
sure.
Well, I mean, that's when you say comedy club versus
Yeah.
a basement or a bar or a theater. You know,
But-
like
but when
a
you're
comedy
talking
club
about-
has that. And it's so funny that they push food because it's like, when's the last time you ate food at a comedy club and was like, oh, I'm glad I did that?
Yeah.
I was-
When was the last time you performed with people eating and we're like, this is great?
No,
The food at
last
the Comedy
night-
Club Minneapolis is delightful, and you can't eat in the showroom.
Oh, yeah.
But aren't you paying tickets at the Comedy Cellar because such and such might walk in and you'll be like, holy
Well,
fuck.
and that's the thing that I don't like though, like, cause I did a brief gig selling New York Comedy Club tickets on the street in New York when I lived there just for a week because I felt like such a scumbag that I quit doing it. Basically, your whole thing's like, you never know, Chris Rock might stop by.
It's all about tricking people.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so many people in Boston on their flyers.
Marking.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, good man.
On their flyers in Boston have like featuring comedians that have performed on Comedy Central and Conan O'Brien's like, no, someone dropped in once.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see the same 8 local comics that you saw for free on Tuesday.
Right.
There's a local booker in the middle of Nebraska, and he doesn't care who he books. He will put a Comedy Central logo, a Spike TV logo.
Wow.
He just he flat out, without telling any of the comics, you don't know that he's doing this until he shows you the poster, but it's just like, as featured on all these late night shows on Comedy Central, and then the shows are just garbage because it doesn't matter.
Wow.
See, I think it depends on where you come from too, because like I've done it a lot of Midwestern one-nighters, and it's like if people buy a ticket, they're a better audience. I guess I've never had the luxury of like, this is my little group, you know what I mean? Like I tend to perform for strangers,
Right.
and I would like those strangers to have bought a ticket so they will behave better.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I just personally struggle in rowdy environments.
Well,
So like
who needs it?
undisciplined,
That's
like,
my lifeblood, dude.
and it's just style of comedy. Like I just,
Yeah.
for me, it's hard. I personally struggle when people haven't bought a ticket and are there to see comedy and are sitting down paying attention. I don't know, maybe it's a weakness of mine, but like it's you know, it feels open micy, and
I think that.
I don't want to get bit by a dog.
Well, I do.
I think if they're there to see the show,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they pay.
Well, I mean,
I think these things can all
But I do
these are all
understand. But I
coexist.
do understand what you mean. And when I'm like touring or whatever, people are like, well, we can do it free in this way, or you can do door to door. I'm like, well, let's do doors so that people that we know that people want to be there. I totally get that.
And you want the venue to
When
go.
when we were doing free shows, at first it was just because the bar needed something going on in the background,
Yeah.
and then eventually it became people were trying to see us, so it was fine. It was cool to them that it was free.
Right.
And then we're like, fire codes came up, and that's awesome too.
Right.
But like, I do understand, the idea of, well, if we make them pay, then they'll want to be here.
Well,
Because
it's
like,
an
it is,
investment.
They're vested in the show.
I do think though
Like,
that if the ticket
dollar.
price is too much,
Yeah.
then they feel like they own the show,
Yeah.
and they
That's true, too.
and they become worse.
Yeah.
so
They-
all
they-
comedy shows
agreed.
should be $1.
Agreed.
Is that what we've been
Like a
doing?
Lincoln.
Huh?
Like a Lincoln.
If I for like a
I think
local,
$5 for shows.
for a local comedy show, like
For a local show.
yeah, and then I mean.
I just want people watching to understand that I have not yet seen the prices on my upcoming Florida tour. So just
But like if I'm driving, if I need a hotel, and I'm giving you an hour of entertainment, and to me, like, again, I'm from the framework of I'm a Midwest comic. Like I just did a show in this town called Hague, and the woman contacted me. The town is 70 people. We doubled the size of the town. They sold a bunch of food. They sold a bunch of drinks. Everybody had a really good time. To me, that's like, this is perfect.
yeah.
And they're happy, and I would, I don't know, I think there should always be value attached to performance.
Yeah.
I think as an I've been an open micer, we've all been open
Yeah.
micers. You need opportunities to perform, but the audience needs to know the difference between like, this is a workout, and now you are
Yeah.
This is a product.
this is,
Yeah.
you need, you
Like, and a ticket
this is why
price
this-
for sure does that. I've seen too many, we're in Nebraska, if you're charging more than $5 for anything, there's got to be a famous person on it. Sure. You can't motivate people to come out for shit.
Sure.
If it's just so cheap to live there that if you're like, hey, $15, I'm like, well, I don't know any of your names, so no.
Right. Well, although if you get a reputation, I mean, there are some places where if you have regular rooms, the reputation of the room will carry the
that
ticket
can
price.
add some value to it too.
Yeah.
And also, I should say when I did, whenever pretty much any time I've ever done, like if I do something for free, where it's free for the audience.
Right.
I know really, if I did do that, it's because I cut a deal with the venue. You know, it's like, hey man, we're not going to charge anybody, but they're going to get wasted. And so give me some of that sweet beer money. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think as long as you get there's an understanding between the venue, yourself, and the audience that this is a real thing that is happening, and there is value to it, and we are all invested in it. So let's not fucking say bad things in my jokes out loud.
And there's also room for all of these things.
Yeah. Yes.
They can all exist.
You do a free bar show on a Wednesday, get heckled. Everyone can yell. It doesn't give a shit. You interrupted their night. But then if you do like a real show, they need to shut the Falcon. They need to shut the fuck up.
Shut the Falcon. Shut up all your
Shut the I can't believe
do not bring birds of prey to a show. I think that's a pretty good rule.
What do you think that's gonna fly?
That's a Ducket.
That's some Ducket bullshit, bringing your Falcons to a show.
Jucket.
It's a Jucket.
Jucket bullshit.
There's three comics in this room that have performed in front of a live parrot. So it's not that they're not like joking, like, "Hey, don't bring a Falcon," because it could possibly happen. So please don't fucking bring a Falcon.
Bring your Falcon.
Who's performing in front of
the three.
All the Lincoln guys.
The Nebraska.
There's a regular thing going on in a meth motel for a while. Someone had a joke about birds.
By the way, favorite venue to perform at? Meth motel.
With an old Pizza Hut converted into a pool house.
Inside what was clearly once an outside part of the hotel.
We could talk about this for 20 minutes. We have to stop because it was the most insane
Damn,
venue.
dude, that's awesome. We're talking about this after.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Have you guys heard Michael Showalter's comedy album, Sandwiches and Cats?
No.
We're like halfway through it, he's just like, I'm sorry, do you have your cat with you? Yes. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, I'm hearing it meow. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm hearing it. And he just starts ripping into this person. No, I just thought, like, I'm going to sit in the front row. I know he's recording an album, but the cat should be quiet. And he's just like, get the fuck out.
Crazy.
And that was recorded before, like, therapy support animals were like
Wow. Don't bring shit to comedy shows. They used to do a show in Fargo on New Year's. They'd have 3 rooms running simultaneously, and you do the show in this room, and then you go to that room and that room, and you do 6 shows over the course of the night. At midnight, they confetti and shit. Somebody brought a wind-up clock and threw it at the fucking stage at midnight and hit a comic in the head. Moral of the story: don't bring shit to a fucking comedy show.
He just wanted you to sign his clock.
With your head, with your blood.
Yeah.
I want a blood signature.
This makes me miss my old basement. Because we'd have a second dog hanging out with a dab. We'd have a dab station. Where you just hang in the back and do dab, like an oil,
smoking
weed
oil, weed oil.
Gotcha.
Dabs is
Doing
what
dabs.
turned me into Sleepy Dan.
Well, we had a green room.
Bad deal.
We constructed out of old doors.
There was a show that ran here in Sioux Falls for a little while that was in a basement, and it was. Did you ever do that one?
Before I moved back.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome. You buy a keg cup for $5, and you go downstairs, and they do the show. They even put up a fake brick wall panel on some side of your head.
Oh my god!
And it was great. And they had a Murphy bed that comes out of the wall, so you can like bring that down and like lay on the bed and tell your jokes.
Damn, dude, that's awesome.
And they had ducks in the backyard.
Wow. In the backyard.
Yeah.
Where they belong.
Yeah.
I don't want no front yard ducks.
This ain't Portland, Oregon, buddy.
Keep the ducks in the back.
Do we have people? Are people still here with us?
For me,
I'm too
We
hungry.
laughed at it, so I'm thinking no.
I am watching.
Viewer for a while.
I think the more
We haven't
intimate, the
moved
better.
Right.
But
Everybody got off
performing.
everybody's lunch break ended and they all said goodbye. So.
Oh.
Okay.
But people watch it later.
Yeah.
No, people watch it later actually.
How many people are masturbating to this? Do you think? I mean, overall.
At least one.
Roughly 10%.
Right. You're
Going
welcome.
home right now to do
Dan,
that.
finish your thought. Well, you're gonna hum and jerk off. Is that what you just say?
Well, yes. No,
Cool.
no, that's not. I got too much work to do this
P.S. Anyways.
No, I was gonna say for me, performing the venues that I would prefer to perform at are any venue that will pay me. For booking information, Dan Woodstock.
Good change.
Which
No, did you
should
change it?
tie it.
Oh no, not
And,
Richardson.
we talked about devaluing the brand. That's what that is.
This is a great segue.
I'll do anything for 50 cents.
Someone
please don't
coming
pay.
loud says $5 is the best for a comedy show.
I can stick a ham sandwich in my butt for $7.
I've done worse for less.
So that goes into our last bit of the podcast is shameless plugs.
Oh.
Great.
So we go around the couch and whatever we want to plug and promote, we talk
around the
about it.
couch.
So James, you start with you.
Sure. I run a somewhat, I don't know, I guess it's biannual at this point.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Wow.
Storyteller show in Lincoln, that's a lot of fun. I did it here in Sioux Falls
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
great.
months ago. It was a lot of fun. Getting busy with James Lindsey. Check that out, it's a lot of fun. And then that's it, I guess, really.
Cool. Dan?
I've got a podcast called the Art of Bombing Podcast, which if you're watching this now, you can come watch the live recording and like right after this at 4 o'clock at Boss's Comedy Club.
We
Or
so
you could,
podcasted up.
yeah, right. Or you could just go online to all the podcast streaming places.
No,
It's there.
come out. I'll be there.
Yeah.
He will. He's on it. So the live is.
Oh,
Al.
you know. I go to alanrichardson.bandcamp.com and buy my albums. The Unknown Man in Unknown Places, which is half an hour of clips of me at different various house shows and basement shows. And then the Gas Money EP, which is it's a half hour of stand-up from a 2-night run I did in Portland. And then when you download that, you get a second EP for free called 10 Gallons of Strange, where it's all the weirdest shit I could find on my computer.
It's not always comedy. It's just weird shit.
Oh, dude, I found a ukulele cover that my friend and I did of Holy Diver, which I don't remember doing it at all.
Jump
It's very like slow and like loungy, and we're just so clearly high.
Dude, remember how people went crazy for that guy's ukulele cover of Over the Rainbow? Like,
Yeah.
huge, man.
There's a
It's
theremin
really
version of Over the Rainbow that's way better though.
There's a what?
A theremin cover of Over the Rainbow that is
Yeah, that song's
haunted.
way down.
Wow.
Yeah, buy my albums.
Spencer?
Me now? Okay. I'll be at Boss's Pizza next, the 1st and 2nd of March, eating. And but also there will be shows. And Andy Schwann is open for me, and he's great.
Yeah, Andy's fantastic.
So please buy a lot of, buy more tickets than you need, and come to the show. And then if you see people you like on the way, you can give them to them. SpencerDobsonComedy.com for all things Spencer Dobson. And if you click the animation link, there are cartoons there if you need something to watch while you poop.
Jimmy Putnam, I only do arenas now. Tickets are generally $40. If I'm in your town, you'll know about it. Everyone will be talking about it, so I don't really need a website or anything like that. You'll know about it, you can find me.
Dresch code.
Dresch code. And I have a pilot in the works. I don't fucking know.
You get your pilot license?
I do. You could probably catch me on a Tuesday for free in Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's
It's gluten free.
yeah,
Sorry.
good free.
Jesus Christ.
That joke was Police Academy 7.
At Sam_Bontrager on Twitter, I guess. And to figure out where I'm going to be in Lincoln or Omaha, because that's the places I'm going to be. I don't have a show to plug right now, so my buddy Patrick Clark hosts a regular monthly show at Screamers Dining and Cabaret in the Haymarket in Lincoln, Nebraska. It is always great, as everything they do at that venue is, so please check that out.
Screamers is the best.
It really is.
Timmy is a nerd on Twitter. I will be at the Arkansas Anime Convention April 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm going to Florida the weekend after that. Follow my Twitter for those 2 dates, and I'm playing Duffy's in Lincoln, Nebraska on March 30th. So
You're part of.
Also, and what?
I can ask afterwards. It doesn't have to be on the recording.
Also, I jerked off today.
What time?
Probably about 10.
I went for like 10:30.
Oh shit, I hope my friend's house on Crashian is watching. You'd never know.
I check underneath the couch cushions.
Oh,
No, I'm like a stealth assassin with that shit, you know, like you can never know.
You stand up and shoot it right into the
It's
toilet.
like Tenchu, you know? That's a ninja game. You should plug your stuff.
my new improv troupe has a show at Remedy Brewing next week at Thursday the 28th at 8 p.m. My band, The Disarmed, has our album available on vinyl now, so I'm pretty excited about that. We have it available at Total Drag, or I think maybe during November and last stop for sure.
You should buy it because it's an investment.
Yeah.
Help them out.
So we have a show in April with the Beer Union, so it's a good band. I'm in 4 bands now, and we all have shows coming up, so I never sleep. We have a show. One of my other bands, Absent Idols, is opening for G.G. Allen's old band, Murder Junkies, in late May. I'm very excited about that. I hope some shit gets thrown out of asses.
Cool.
Is the drummer still naked all the time? Or that guy died, right?
I think he's still alive.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Someone called me the G.G. Allen of comedy the other day.
Ooh, that's a
for
great
show.
compliment.
I don't think so.
I don't want to.
I think it's a good compliment.
But yeah.
Thank you.
I'm complimenting your compliment.
Are you sure they didn't say Zsa Zsa Gabor? Because G.G. Allen was really violent.
Oh, you haven't. I do a character where I get very violent and
Okay.
I rip off my clothes and scream at everybody.
Well, that's all right. Yeah.
Super.
I had it coming.
And also go to the rest of Snow Jam this weekend.
Whoa,
Yes. Art of Bombing at 4 p.m.
We're going at 4 p.m. today. Stand-up showcase.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
9 p.m. Rumble
Round of Light.
Bosses. DJ dance party at 11.
Yep, Icon.
Yeah.
Is there just real
Saturday.
quick? Is there a way to make this about me? Good. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You just did.
Can I make
Will
it about
Spencer, you're
Don't
on.
do my thing.
Will in it.
Saturday, 4 p.m. 4 p.m. family-friendly show. 6 p.m. That's debatable. 9 p.m. Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall. Icon.
You won't get bitten by a dog at any of them.
Let's not say things we'll regret later.
That's not a legally binding statement.
You could get bit by the dog in your heart.
So James, Dan, Alan, Spencer, Jimmy.
Okay,
Sam,
plug one more
Timmy.
thing.
Yeah.
Buy my band's album too, Noisebreaker. Just worked very hard on it, and then we broke up, so we never told anyone we released it.
I have one more plug. Just give me $5.
I would like to plug more Patrick Clarkson.
Can I say the last thing?
Well, thank you guys so much for being on here. Robert, thank you as always. And you've been listening to The Dresch Show.
The code of the Dresch.
Last Dresch.